Hey guys, how's it going? I just realized for like the first 3 quarters of that intro, my mic was on, so you guys probably got some sweet ASMR breathing.
No, it wasn't too bad. You're good.
Let's go! It's muted for me, so I have no idea.
Sweet. All right, guys. I am very happy to be back here with our group of adventurers as we dive into Everlast. Unfortunately, we weren't able to be joined with our new player for Thordane yet. But hopefully next time we play, we can get our lovely, actually member here in the community, Ikari, will be joining us, taking over for the character of Thordane. But in the meantime, we have the regular group of people here to be able to enjoy another session of Everlast. And so, with that being the case... What is happening? With that being the case...
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Let's go ahead and have everybody introduce each other. Let's go ahead and start with Max.
Introduce each other?
Yeah, you can introduce Connor.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
select a random person and we'll just go in order.
So, Dane over there, you all know is Forge, plays Yuki, the slightly naive, but not in a bad way, very motherly, sword dancing bard?
Blade
From-
dancing, yes.
Blade dancing bard, so close. From,
Flamongolith.
Flamongolith. She's great. We like her. She gets on our nerves every once in a while. It's fantastic.
Astute. Nice introduction.
And next, let's
There
go
we go.
ahead and introduce our next player, Cole.
This is Connor, and he plays Belbin Roku. Bet you didn't know that was his last name, but it is. And yeah, he punches people, he takes names, and so right now he's having a little bit of an internal crisis. So, you know, he's a Glyvin who takes no crap from anybody, and he's salty, he's old, and he's got a 6-pack.
And he never
Salty and
wears
old.
clothes.
With the 6-pack.
Everyone loves a good salty old six-pack.
I'm pretty sure anybody who's in their 50s would actually probably like to be described as that. Salty old, but with the 6-pack.
All right. Well, we'll go along with the trend since Max introduced me. I'll introduce Zill. So Zill is a human axe-wielding tank from the city of Helix. He was a poor orphan boy back in the day, but he has found a new home amongst the party. And he has a wonderful mouse named Waffle. He really likes purple. He's a blacksmith, and he can make dragon-forged weapons, which is pretty cool. So that's Zill.
You forgot his new nickname, the Teapot of Madness.
You're right, the Teapot of Madness. He got that from a wrestling tournament. Those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, it's up on YouTube, so feel free to watch that.
And next, we have Connor.
All right, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. Ooh, no, this way. This way? Yeah, there we go. Right up there, we have Kyle, our gate weaver, and he helps us out sometimes. He's a pretty generous guy most of the time, but there was back in the day, he would get real mad at us because we were so overpowered that he would create these giant encounters, and we would just mow him down without taking like any damage. He would get so pissed. Those were the days.
The early days when I was learning to DM and I like realized I'm like, hey, if I throw like a level like 5 thing up against a party of way overpowered guys. Yeah, that's true. That would happen. And then I throw something
And
like a Zaeldoom at you.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Pure revenge.
yeah.
And
It's a little bit more balanced now, but yeah, we would just mow people down. Those were the days.
there
Jeez.
was the time where we had him just stop the session before he meant to because he could not stop laughing because we made a Hell's Kitchen joke.
It's good. I forgot about that.
Me too.
If you
Still
want, if you want
Aishin
to do that,
Archipelago stuff, so...
if you want to know what we're talking about, join the Patreon.
yeah, there you go.
Plugged. Woo.
And last but not least, we have Cole, who represents Luxalia of the Silverwood.
Who sounds like Mickey Mouse.
Let's stop the session.
Inaccurate.
And with Luxalia, she is the group's resident healer. She is a Glyven from the Silverwood, and she is a shrine maiden of Amaterasu. And she is here to dispel evil with her light mana, and additionally keep the entire party in check, especially Belvin.
God, that she's a goody two shoes.
She looks at Belbin as her wise older brother.
Nope.
She sees
She has a secret affinity towards him.
she sees Zil as the party's pet. And she also looks at Yuki. Well, she doesn't really look at Yuki.
Yeah.
Thordane.
This is there.
No one's there to introduce Thordane.
Oh yeah.
Well.
I technically play Thordane, so I'll introduce Thordane.
No.
No, you can't.
I'm gonna eeny
One
meeny
night at
miny
a
mo
time.
this sucker.
Jordan,
Okay.
We each have to say one thing about him.
I like
Go,
it.
Max.
Wood Elf? Wood Elf?
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
Wood Elf. He's a man of science.
He's the captain of our wonderful ship, Alomnia's Breath, and he's apparently really good at wrestling.
Yeah.
And last but not least, originally he was a very boring guy. He's taken on more of a personality.
Happens.
And one last thing, he is also the party's hunter and tracker. So he uses his bow and he does ranged DPS damage, and he also has a sword that talks to him in his sleep, or while he's awake too. So that's fun.
It's real estate.
Yes, this is great. That was quite entertaining. That was good. Let's go ahead and just jump right into the session, I guess. With all of that being the case, the party. I know it's been 3 weeks since we've reconvened, and those who are watching on YouTube that are watching these suckers back to back, it hasn't been 3 weeks for you. But Eclaas Eeas has traveled through the Aishan Archipelago. They are now the holders of the Earth Key. And a bunch of things happened on Aishan Island. Volcanoes are exploding. Pirates are at sea. They were chased by giant sea creatures. But they were told to go grab basically the owners of the other elemental keys from Nalgoric Cragheim, who is the keeper of the Fire Pillar's key. And they are going to discuss what's happening within the seas of Everlast and all of the crazy stuff that's been going down. And so they're currently on a mission to go track down these key holders, and their first destination brings them to Feshin Fey with King Farron, who's the keeper of the sea key. And with that, they had done quite a few sessions of sea exploration to where they got chased by Azaeldoom, the terror of the seas. Giant sea monster, he's a bad dude. And he wanted to kill them. Fortunately, with some actually very good rolls, Alomnia's Breath was able to decently outrun Azaeldoom, finding harbor inside a random cave. And within this cave, a bunch of people died. There was a big funeral that happened. Dust in the Wind was played. It was great. But also, Belbin and Zil wandered off and explored essentially a secret monastery, temple, whatever you want to call it. And within this temple, they were able to get the Celestial Bow. And so currently they have the Celestial Bowstring and the Celestial Bow in their possession. And the only thing that is left, according to the legends from Altuliant, is the Celestial Arrow, which is currently embedded in a pirate lord sunken at the bottom of the sea. But with that aside, they are going on their main quest to Feshin Fey. And so they took a decent amount of time to travel up the inward strait in this great sea of Everlast, all the way to the city of Feshin Fey, which is a coastal sea elf city where Feshin Fey elves live and thrive and call their home. And upon, it's about early afternoon as their ship begins to explore into the docks and seeing for the very first time this beautiful and enchanting sight of this beautiful sea elf city that rises before you. So as your ship glides into the sheltered bay of Feshin Fey, a mesmerizing sight unfolds before your eyes. Crystal clear, azure waters, reminiscent of polished sapphire, stretch out as far as the eye can see. Sunlight dances upon the gentle ripples, casting ethereal beams that shimmer and play, illuminating the hidden depths below. As you peer into the depths, it is a wondrous realm that exists beneath the surface, where figures of elven inhabitants swim effortlessly in their movements akin to graceful ballet on the other side of a glass veil. And so, what you see upon your boat coming into the docks here at Feshin Fey is the city is erected before you, both above and below the city. And so basically the city that you can see on the horizon, the city that rises above the waves, is only half of the city. The other half lays submerged below the waves inside the bay of Feshin Fey. But you make your way towards this city, and it's very quiet. It's not the typical hustle and bustle that you would hear upon port at, let's say, Port Grandium. In fact, as you begin to dock on these floating docks outside of basically the port district, you disembark and your feet meet soft white sand and blankets that are in blankets on the shore. The faint scent of sea salt caresses your senses. You find yourself standing at the edge of a city unlike any you've encountered before, a seamless fusion of land and sea. The architecture crafted from with white sandstone and plaster exhibits an elegant grandeur, accented by glimmering silver structures that punctuate the landscape. Each building stands as a testament to elven craftsmanship, its design both luxurious and ornate, evoking a sense of timeless beauty. Turning to face the sea, a large walkway leads down into beneath the waves, the main entry and exit point between the two halves of the city. And with that, you are here now officially docked at the port in Feshin Fey. There is a number of individuals. The vast majority of them do look like sea elves, but you see a couple foreign ships at this dock as well. And there are a number of people at work loading and resupplying ships that are about to go off for the day, and ships such as yours that have come into the bay in order to dock. There are a number of sea elves, these Feshin Fey elves, that are doing the majority of the work. They are tall and slender, but you can tell that they are strong. The way that, I think, is this your guys' first time encountering a Feshin Fey elf?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, we saw them like when we were in Port Grandium, like out and about, but we never like I think actually talked to them or encountered them. So
Make wisdom skill checks for me.
oh my gosh,
Oh no.
starting off early, yeah.
11.
7.
Dice are a good thing. 7, 11. Oh, by the way, for those who don't know, Everlast is on a D16 scale, not instead of a D20.
Yuki got a 9 and Thordane got 11.
Okay. Zil, what was yours?
11.
11, 7, 9, and 11. And then Luxalia, wisdom skill check for me.
Sorry, I forgot dice.
Amateur.
I know.
Okay, it be that way sometimes, no
I'm
problem.
getting there.
What do we pay you for? Oh, wait.
Don't worry. I have not used this since I moved, but I knew where it was. And installing wisdom is gonna be let's see how wise I am. 11.
11. All right. So those who got above a 10. So I think, what is that?
Not Yuki.
Zil and
No.
Luxalia. And Thordane.
And Thordane.
Thordane. You're able to peer over the edge and see that there are a number of individuals. Two of them do catch the attention immediately. One of them looks to be dressed in what you can only imagine is traditional attire, but he has kind of these robes that fall and kind of cascade over his the rest of his body. But one of his sleeves have fallen off from work, and you can see that this chiseled white feature of these elves, like very almost like porcelain skin. But you can see as you look closer, there are not scales. It's not quite what Draken have, but like silver Draken have, but around like the edges, the exteriors of their face, so around their hairline or around basically like the sides, they have basically this kind of shimmer about them, and it kind of, as the sun reflects off of their skin, it's a little bit, sheds a blue hue. And so you're able to see that. The rest of you, as you look out upon, you don't necessarily notice this quite intricacy of the skin, but you do see that their general features tend, again, to be tall, slender, and muscular, but their hair is an assortment of different colors, but mostly sandy and dark brown. So kind of like a dirty blonde and like dark browns you see. And the hair kind of comes down just below the shoulders mostly, and they're very well kept. A lot of these workers that are on the docks have headbands that are tied around just to keep the hair out of their eyes. And they look gruff for elven faces. It's quite interesting to see that. And so you are docked.
Nice. Well, Belbin needs a beer.
I hope
Can we find the closest tavern?
that way.
Anyone want to
I
join?
don't swim good.
I don't often drink too much, Belbin, but you know, after what we just experienced, I'll take you up on that.
Half of our
I'll
crew
take
just
you up
died.
on that.
We can pour one out for him.
I just look at Belvin and I'm like, you buy him?
I'll buy.
Oh,
I'm in.
Belbin, that's so kind of you.
Yeah, that might have been out of
Oh.
character for Belbin.
He's designated not a drinker.
Well, you know,
But I'll have some water.
you can pour one out
Water
for our
looks great
homies.
here.
How's that sound? You
Yeah.
can get a beer and just pour it out for them, you know?
Captain Balthazar, or I'm sorry, Captain Command Balthazar says, "Aye, they have good spirits here, but what they are known for is their silver leaf tea. This,
I'm gonna have so much of that. All of it.
but before we depart and we make our way into this beautiful city, we must be investigated." And as he says this, you see that there is a individual who started walking your way with about 3 what look to be armed guards in tow. This individual wears a silver and a deep blue armor covered head to toe, has a helmet kind of almost reminiscent of in real world lingo, almost Chinese-esque. As he makes his way over to the side of the boat and orders Alumnia's breath. He sees as it's clearly written on the side of the boat. "Prepare for us to board." As they wait there for you to put down any kind of gangway to be able to get up onto the ship.
I whisper over to Balthazar. How do they feel about weapons?
Aye, they're here to investigate us, to see if we're bringing anything of illegal substance into the city. You see, Fashion Fae, it's a city with tight borders. They live in peace and harmony, and they will do anything to protect such a thing. So, they are coming on board to investigate the people and cargo. Just be honest with your task at hand, and we shall have no problems.
Oh yeah.
Nothing's illegal except for Belbin.
I was gonna say, Belvin's gonna go to his room and try to hide.
Make a stealth check for me.
Oh, Lord.
Do we still have the cloaks of fire protection from
You do.
Blombridge?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Of course. They're in our stuff.
6.
6. As soon as you see the gangway goes down, and as soon as you see these elves start to make their way up the side onto Lamnia's breath, you look and just very obviously like looking in every direction to try to get out as fast as possible. And you jump down the center of the cargo hold, and so you're able to slip down. And immediately you hear a gentleman's voice. All hands on deck. We're here to investigate each and every person that is on the ship, including you.
Zill just kind of does this and puts his hands on the deck.
Melvin, don't be shy. They're friends, after all.
Friends don't investigate like this.
Yeah, I mean, you have to understand.
We did once when you keistered that key.
PTSD.
They're real good friends.
Uh,
Melvin's starting to be even more distrusting.
No, Melvin, it's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry. Leave the talking to me if you're so concerned.
Aye, Captain, what shall we be doing? Get everybody in line. Be proper.
Why of course. Sorry, that's my other character. Sorry. Why, yes, this is a very scientific matter at hand, Thordain says. I think that we need to be ship shape, as they say. And he lines everyone up and gets them ready for inspection.
Including Belpin. Are you coming willingly, Belpin? You've been clearly caught. You've been clearly called out.
Yeah, no, I will.
Okay. Everybody lines up, and so the entire crew is there. A very small crew for a vessel this size, including Remy coming up from the kitchens, and she's "Oh, wow, I've never seen anything of quite such resplendent grandeur. This puts Takai down to shame." And everybody is just like looking, waiting for essentially these 4 guards to inspect you up and down. 2 of them do go off and explore the rest of the ship without any basically guidance. They look to know exactly what they're doing. One dropping down to the cargo hold, another going into the captain's quarters and all of that. And the one that's adorned in the heavier armor looks at each of you. My name is Aldrin Thalarin. I am here serving as the sentinel of the Azure Docks. I am here to investigate to see if you are bringing anything of illegal substance or if you are here to cause trouble in our peaceful city of Feshenfei. I will inspect each one of you. I will interrogate each one of you. And if I deem you fit to go on land, you can do so. Once we are done inspecting, you will make your way over to the checkpoint, the Tide Guard checkpoint, and he points over at the end of the docks that extend. Again, these are pretty expansive, but as you make your way over kind of to the left, you veer to the left, there's a walkway that leads to what looks to be a kind of wall that begins to surround the city and a gate kind of toll house. This is what he is referring to as the Tide Guard checkpoint. So, if each one of you will comply, we will get this over with as soon as possible. And he goes over and he looks, so you are the captain of this ship. And he looks at Thordain up and down. Tell me, what is your name and what is your crew's purpose here docking in Feshenfei?
Well, my name is Thordain, and my... You took my joke, Luxalia. No, we are the party Eclaas Eeas. We are emissaries from the island of what's the island?
Make a history check.
Aishin Island?
Not a history.
I should
Knowledge check. I guess you could just do. That's fine. Aishin Island. It's Aishin Island.
It was good though. So it was a 16, non-natural, dirty. From Aishin Island, and actually, we are the holders of a sacred relic, the Earth Key, and we're here to meet with the holder of the Water Key. I mean, sorry, the Water Key, right?
Sea Key.
Sea Key. And we are emissaries from King. Now, Gorik Cragheim. Thordain is just, he doesn't pay attention. all of our party members are whispering this to them as he's talking. He's not.
And he
he's not very
suspiciously
persuasive.
looks.
Real.
He's not very persuasive, but he's the captain, you know. So, from Nalgoric Cragheim, we seek counsel.
If that is the case, Captain, what is your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, why, of course, that is rude of me. I am Thordane Mafariel of the Woodland Realm. And this is my band of wonderful seafarers. And he starts introducing. We have Luxali of the Silverwood. We have Belbin Roku of the Roku Horn. We have Yuki Mistletoe from the grand city of Flamongolith. And we have Zil. He doesn't have a last name, from Helix.
He's
He-
like
Too poor to
Cher.
afford the last name.
He looks at each of you, and the rest of the other crew do also say their names as well as he goes up, and he puts his hand back. He's like, and a ledger gets placed into his hand, and he says, "All right," and he dips his a quill in ink, and he says, "Captain Thordane Mafariel, Captain of Alamnia's Breath," and he says, and he begins to write things. Without much time that passed, the other two elves come and join his side with his companion, and he says, they whisper in his ear, "It seems that you are bringing nothing suspicious, and if what you say is true, then your course of action is to make your way up to the Royals District. You can ask you can ask people within the city to be able to help. We have a representation of a welcoming. We have a welcome committee that essentially is here to be able to help show you around if you care to have so. But if that is the case, you are free to depart and make your way to the checkpoint." And he signs off, and he gives essentially like a receipt to Thordane for his boat. "The cost of this and everything for staying here, depending on your stay, it is going to be," and he kind of calculates, "1 ever piece per day."
That sounds fair, my good sir. 1 ever piece, and he hands over the first one right away.
Okay.
That's expensive.
Hey, sir, are you sure you checked everywhere on this ship?
Is there any place that perhaps my men didn't perhaps should look closer? Belbin.
I just asked a question.
He means no harm. He's just a crotchety old man. Don't worry about him.
He's got abs.
He'll raise his right hand and said, "I solemnly swear I'm up to no good."
He looks suspiciously.
Classic.
I do have a question for you lot. It's not every day that a ship ports here, made up of all the various races found throughout Everlast. You say you are the keepers of the Earth Key, and that is news to my ears. In fact, it is the Order of Amandalius that holds such a thing.
Why, yes, of course. Unfortunately, upon finding them, the Order of Amandalius no longer is living. It was wiped out by an Earth Elemental, unfortunately. And after council with King Nalgoric Cragheim, it was entrusted to us.
Indeed, indeed. Well, this remains to be seen. If you would show me evidence of such a claim, please do so.
We do have the little written note from him, don't we?
Well, there's a written note, and there's also a key.
Yeah. I mean,
I
Thordane.
have it.
Yeah. Thordane grabs the written note, because I actually think he has that on him.
Mhm.
I pull out the key.
Okay. No, Yuki has it on her, so Yuki pulls out the note
So
as
what's
well.
the emerald key in my inventory?
Oh, that was from a few sessions
Fancy.
ago. Yeah. I think it was for a.
Oh, it's for the dungeon.
Yeah, the dungeon.
Yeah. There
Zil
was
very
a...
confidently pulls out this emerald key,
Hmm.
thinking it's the Earth key. He got confused.
Zil, that is not an Earth key. That is an Emerald key. And he bops him on the head. Pull out the right key.
City?
Well, I don't know if there's
He just
exists such a
starts
thing here.
trying to pry out the emerald.
Yuki goes over and slaps him on the back. He's like, "Don't worry, I got you." And he digs in the bag and pulls it out. And she digs in the bag and pulls it out.
Well, clearly, if you were petty thieves, you wouldn't be here in the city, seeking counsel with King Ferrand. All right.
Good point.
I will trust you for now. But if you make your way over to the Tide Guard, checkpoint, further investigation will be said. There you will learn the code of conduct, and you will know all of the laws of our town, and if you break them, the consequences that should come upon you. If you do follow such a code here in Feshin Fey, you'll have a lovely time and a wonderful stay. If you seek to restock any supplies, and he points down to the original one that Thordane, Luxalia, and Zil saw, the man with kind of like the robe that's kind of half hanging off, you can talk to Viriel. He is the captain of the port, and he's in charge of restocking. You can purchase and resupply from him, and he will be in charge of restocking your ship, without you and your crew having to lift a finger. He's very skilled at what he does, and if you treat him nicely, he's even willing to give discounts. He kind of
Thordane
whispers.
snaps his fingers. Bree, go talk to the man.
Oh, aye, Captain. But she kind of waits for essentially the sentinel of the port, Aldrin, to depart, and he does, and he kind of looks you all one more time over with a little bit of suspicion. He says, "For now, welcome to the Azure docks of Feshin Fey." And he, with his men, make his way down back onto the docks, off to other business.
Nice. Well, shall we go? Shall we move towards this checkpoint of sorts?
Do we have to go through the checkpoint to get to the tavern?
I'm assuming so, Belbin.
All right, let's do it.
So you make your way over to the Tide Guard checkpoint. This is as I had mentioned, there's this ring wall that surrounds the greater part of the city, ending at the sea, at the little bay, and making its way all the way around. This is a pretty large city from what you can see. It's not super, like, the buildings aren't very dense. Most of them are pretty spread out, but there's this maze of kind of like white kind of sandstone paved walkways that go out and throughout. And it's wonderful to be able to behold. But as you begin to approach this ring wall with the Tide Guard checkpoint, you see that there is essentially a toll gate that has made its way down. Iron bars separate you from within the city, and there is a guard that is standing out front. This is a female Feshin Fey elf, and she seems to have some kind of a ledger on her as well, as the group of you approach.
Make way.
Change.
What's considered change in the world of Everlast?
Eeas. Evershill. That's good. She looks you kind of one over and says, "Your names and your purpose."
I am Luxalia of the Silverwood, and I seek the Holy Grail. Just wait, what's his name? Someone else go. I'll think about it.
What was the king's name?
King Ferrand.
King Ferrand.
King Ferrand! And the water key. The sea key? The ocean
The
key.
sea
The key of the ocean.
Siki.
Yeah, the sea key. Wait.
Closely related to sea monkey.
Yes.
She
Is that
look-
a big diamond? Oh. Or sapphire?
No. But as you mentioned that, I'm assuming all of you give names. We don't have to go through the whole spiel again. All of you give your names, your purpose, and she says, outsiders seeking the service of King Ferrand and the audience of him. This is important business indeed. If what you claim is true, Then you shall make your way right away up to the Royals District. And she points over with kind of her pen down on the very far north end of the city. So if you look at this photo, you guys, the docks are kind of in this area, and you've made your way kind of boop, boop, boop over between here where the tide checkpoint is. You have to make all your way all the way over here for the district, so at the very north end of the city of Feshin Fei. And so, she kind of points over in that general direction. But before you go, as custom here in Feshin Fei, I shall read the code of conduct that you should apply yourselves here while you are in the city. The breaking of any laws could result in dire consequences for you. And she kind of pockets the ledger, and she pulls out kind of like this scroll. And she says, "The Feshin Fei Code of Conduct. By entering the city of Feshin Fei, you hereby pledge to follow the following laws of our city. By breaking our laws, you may face the consequences of immediate expulsion, imprisonment, or banishment from our hallowed walls for a designated period of time. First rule, alumnic reverence. All residents of Feshin Fei shall honor and respect the ancient traditions and beliefs of the alumnic faith. They shall conduct themselves in a manner that upholds the sacred values and principle of alumnic teachings, promote tolerance, compassion, and reverence for all living beings. Residents are encouraged to participate in rituals and ceremonies to seek spiritual growth through study, prayer, and other forms of spiritual practice. Individuals who do not adhere to alumnic faith may not spread any false creeds to the populace or any other practitioners of the alumnic faith within the sanctuary of the city. Rule number 2, respect. Every individual in Feshin Fei must treat one another with respect, dignity, and courtesy regardless of social status, race, gender, or beliefs. Number 3, environmental stewardship. All residents are obliged to protect and preserve the natural environment of Feshin Fei, refraining from actions that harm marine and terrestrial habitats, and practicing sustainable resource management. 4. Nonviolence. Violence and aggression have no place in Feshin Fei. Individuals must resolve conflicts through peaceful means, promoting dialogue, understanding, and diplomacy. 5. Honesty. Every resident must strive to promote harmony, honesty and integrity are the foundations of our society. All individuals are expected to be truthful and transparent in their actions, communications, and dealings. She looks at all of you. 6. Harmony. Every resident must strive to promote harmony within the community, fostering cooperation and unity and empathy among its members. Number 7. Sustainable practices. Feshin Fei promotes sustainable practices in all aspects of life. Individuals are required to engage in responsible fishing, farming, and resource consumption to ensure the long-term health of the ecosystem. 8. Cultural preservation. The unique cultural heritage of Feshin Fei is to be cherished and protected. Residents must respect and preserve the customs, traditions, and artifacts of our society. 9. Hospitality. Residents are expected to extend a warm and welcoming demeanor to visitors, promoting them with hospitality and assistance while respecting their privacy and boundaries. And finally, 10. Education. Every individual in Feshin Fei has the right to education and personal growth. Residents are encouraged to actively pursue knowledge, skills, and intellectual development throughout their lives. And she rolls it up. And if you can abide by these rules, this code of conduct here within Feshin Fei, you will have no problems within our city's walls. But if you shall break them, we will know about it. And she smiles, she rolls it up and smiles kindly at you as she knocks basically on this wooden beam, and immediately the toll gate begins to rise, giving way for you to be able to make your way into the city.
Before we do leave, Yuki pipes in. We've had a long journey from Aishin Island. Is there a place we could stop by to freshen up, to perhaps get a drink?
Yes, of course. If you make your way over to the city center, and she points, basically just you follow the road up into the center of the city. The Silverleaf Tavern. Ah, yes, they are known for their exquisite silver leaf teas. If you make your way there, you shall find some respite for your, to quench your thirst. If you're looking for places to stay during your time here, there are also other places, such as if you look at the Starlight Market, they have everything that you need to be able to enjoy yourself, including fashion fey goods and whatnot. Melindra's Haven, that is our main inn here in the city. It is very large, you can see, and she actually points up to this building right here. It is known for its spectacular views of the sea, and they have wonderful grand rooms for you to be able to enjoy if you do plan on staying for a time. Do you require any other assistance?
Transportation? Do you have like taxis? Or something like that? Do we just walk?
Of course. And she kind of snaps, and essentially this rickshaw comes over, a number of rickshaws. So you have these 2 Fashion Fey elves per rickshaw that can fit up to 3 people inside. These do come at a cost. Per person, it is going to be 1 EC to take you to where you're going to go.
That's steep.
Well, I mean, Zill, you just need to stop being so cheap. We'll take them. Yuki pipes up.
Fine.
This is hospitality. Yuki's pretty happy about this situation. Like civilization, actual civilization. She's just happy to be here. So.
Yeah.
Fine, you go.
So you step into essentially you step into these rickshaws, and they're led, each of them actually, by 1 male and 1 female elf. Their height differentiation isn't that much, to be honest. The men tend to be a little bit more broad, but the females are just as strong as well. It's quite interesting. But as you begin to move along kind of beachside up into the city, you see that the city center, which is located at the center of the city, pulsates with elven vitality and cultural richness. Ivory sandstone structures adorned with silver and sky blue accents stand tall, excluding magnificence. The air is alive with vibrant energy and animated merchants, joyful laughter and enticing aromas. Skilled artisans showcase mesmerizing jewelry, intricate tapestries, and magical artifacts. Tranquil parks offer moments of respite, while panoramic overlooks reveal breathtaking views of Fashion Fey Bay, and it's a popular place for couples as well. At the heart of the district, the Celestial Archive, which you pass, it's this enormous building that stands basically above you, which is going to be this building right here. It's this enormous building that stands towering above you. It stands at the center of the city, and it is the heart of the city, of this central district. The Celestial Archive holds ancient wisdom within its hallowed halls. But the rickshaws begin to take you up and around through kind of circular almost streets as you make your way over to, I'm assuming, the tavern, the Silverleaf Tavern. You basically, upon leaving the rickshaw, you make sure you pay the people, remove that from your inventory.
Shucks.
As you depart, they bid you farewell with kind, welcoming faces as they make their way back down towards the beachside area in the Port District. And then you are basically brought face to face with a decent-sized tavern, but there is what looks to be a tea kettle on the sign, followed by, in Elvish speech, in Elvish language, the Silverleaf Tavern.
Well, shall we
Finally.
go in? Yeah.
Yes. I'll go right up to the bar.
You do so.
Hey, bartender.
Ah, yes, of course, of course.
I need a drink for everyone in my party.
You see, before
Good
you.
clarification.
You see before you.
I don't know how crowded or not this bar is, and I'm not made of money.
This elegant looking male fashion fey elf. He looks kindly at you, and his eyes kind of like glimmer a little bit as he sees a group of travelers come in. Welcome. Drinks, of course. If you are looking for something that you can only find in Fashion Fey, perhaps I can offer you some silverleaf tea. If not, we have a regular supply of drinks. And he points over to kind of this very intricately carved out board that stands. Think of Starbucks boards, but like intricately carved into wood, with essentially lined with golden paints. He points to there. We have our regular selection of ales and meads and alcoholic beverages, but what we are known here is our tea.
Do you have any cocktails with the tea?
Cocktails? I'm not quite sure what you mean by such a thing.
It's an alcoholic beverage you make with a bunch of other stuff.
Oh!
So it's like some tea and some liquor.
Why would you despoil the flavor of such exquisite tea? No, we do
That's
not
a really
offer.
good point.
We do not offer such things as cocktails. But you will find that if you do select from our alcoholic beverages, that they should be plenty flavorful for your taste buds to be able to enjoy.
All right,
Well-
I know Muxalia wants some tea.
Yeah.
I'll take a tea and an ale.
Yuki actually perks up at the tea, and she's like, "Well, if this is as good as it says, I'll start with the tea. Maybe I'll get something a little bit stronger later."
What about
All right.
Thordain?
Thornton wants a ale.
Yeah, he's drinking.
He's
Wait.
drinking.
Remind me, it's 1 EP or EC for the coach?
The rickshaw?
The
1 EC, not EP. EC.
Oh my gosh, that would be expensive.
It's not that
Super.
movie.
That's as much as your ship being docked for a day.
No.
That's good.
All right, so bartender, give us a few silverleaf teas and a few ales.
Indeed,
And
and
then I'll
he
lean over to him and say, add a little alcohol to the tea.
he looks like askance at you, like as almost like offended. I will not be adding such things to your tea. And he says this in a normal voice. If you wish to do so at your own table by your own doing and ruining our precious silverleaf tea, do so without my knowing. And he looks like almost disgusted at like
But
not
now
like
you know.
not like offended, but like disgusted. Like, ugh, like why would you do that? But yes, and so you go ahead and you all sit down at the table, and with all of that together, that is going to be a total of. So what drinks are we getting? How many silverleaf teas? How many ales?
3 teas, right? 3 teas.
I'm taking a tea and an ale.
Yeah, so 3 teas, 3 ales, then.
Okay, 3 teas and 3 ales. Well, that makes it easy. So the silverleaf tea is going to be 7 ES per tea, and then the ale is 3 ES per ale.
Okay.
So
is that
30. So 3 EC.
3 EC total, but split that amongst yourselves depending on who's getting what. So
Belvin's paying.
Belvin's buying this one.
okay, so
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
three
But I'm not tipping the
3 EC.
bartender. I'm not tipping that jerk.
He doesn't look. He looks at you and as if not expecting something as such. You pay him in full, and he takes it and graciously thanks you. If you'll have a seat at any of our tables, I'm fine that you'll find our atmosphere quite welcoming and pleasant indeed. And he smiles and he nods, and he says, "If you have any questions, you may come up to the bar and ask me. My name is Aranis Nilwa. I'm here, and I am the curator of the Silverleaf Tavern, but if there is anything that you need more assistance from, you can," and he gestures over to a barmaid, essentially, but very elegantly dressed. It's another Fashion Fey elf. You can talk to Alyssy. Just call for her, and she will bring you whatever you need.
Wow. Thanks.
Great.
All right. So you make your way over to a set of tables. You all sit down together, and without much waiting, actually, all of the tea is brought. Each person who ordered tea is brought a kettle and their own cup. So you'll basically have your own kind of little drink sanctuary there. And then not too long after that, all the ales come out and are placed appropriately. So essentially, so a little background on the Silverleaf Tavern. So the Silverleaf Tavern is renowned for its exquisite Silverleaf tea, and it stands as testament to the rich traditions and warm hospitality of Feshin Fae. Nestled in the heart of the city, the grand establishment exudes an aura of elegance and comfort. Its interior, adorned with opulent accents of pearl and silver, creates a captivating ambiance and instantly captivates your senses. So the owner of the Silverleaf Tavern, Aranis Nyla, is a gracious and amiable host, known for his deep appreciation to the arts of culinary delights. With his experiences, Aranis has cultivated a menu that tantalizes the palate and highlights the finest flavors of Feshin Fae, bountiful harvests from both land and sea. Guests are enchanted by his stories and about the origins of Silverleaf tea, sharing the tales of how it carefully cultivated from the seabed farms in Feshin Fae Bay, and the meticulous process it undergoes to deliver this enchanting aroma of smooth, delicate taste. So,
Cool. Nice. Is this gonna be like tea ceremony? Sick.
it is not tea ceremony. So they bring it over, and essentially it's kind of your self-serve. But it's you look into the pot and you see the tea leaves, and it's kind of strange looking. It looks to be almost kind of like these tendrils of seaweed that are placed within the tea, but they are silver. And they actually reflect the pot, like the light that's kind of like coming from within the pot, as you see. And almost kind of like small fish are swimming around inside your tea. It's a little bit like, ugh, at first, but you look at it more and more, and you actually begin to see that it has kind of this beautiful look to it. You pour the Silverleaf tea into a cup, and it has almost the kind of this faint kind of glitteriness to it. It's completely clear, but it kind of like this faint kind of like shimmeringness to it. You bring the tea to your lips, and I'm going to have those who are drinking tea make a focus skill check for me.
Okay. Oh, man.
That's a 5.
Focus. That's a 12 for Yuki.
Okay.
Focus. It's 3. 9.
9. And so, Zill, you taste this, and at first it kind of tastes like seawater to you, and you're just like, ugh, like, what is this? And then you realize as it sits in your palate for a bit, you start to be able, it turns from saltiness to kind of like rich kind of earthiness of tea. It maybe isn't quite your taste, but it's very much has a strong tea flavor at this point.
Now it tastes like dirt.
Luxalia, as you take a sip, you're actually very pleasantly surprised with how light the tea is. It's fragrant, but it's not overly heavy and saturated with like deep flavors. But you do there's hints of actually kind of like this citrus taste to it, intertwined with that little bit of earthiness that Zill had mentioned. And Yuki, you try this, and this is one of the best teas you've had in your entire life. Nice. You maybe you haven't tried a whole lot of tea in your life, but this is like perfect for a nice, hot, humid day. It's even though it's hot tea that you sip, it almost cools your body as it trickles down your throat, and yeah, it feels good.
Nice.
The ales, as you try those, the ales taste pretty good. Actually, Zill, as you try yours, it's pretty reminiscent of ale from back home in Helix. In fact, if your senses aren't basically betraying you, This tastes very much similar to something you would get at Kamela's Tavern. Not necessarily Kamela's Brew, but just one of their regular ales there. You can tell that this is imported ale. It's not grown here. So it's a very familiar taste. And Belbin and Thordain, you're also familiar with this, trying the various ales from throughout. But this is clearly ale that has been imported from the Great Peninsula.
Now this is what I'm talking about.
Are there any other benefit effects that come from it just being delicious?
Not
And
immediately.
tea.
Not immediately.
Alright, just delicious. That's okay.
We won't age.
Yeah,
We
there you go.
deserve it. We deserve this moment.
You guys sure you want to go back on that ship? Why here seems pretty good. He says after a beer.
As nice as it is, I prefer, not this.
Isn't the world in danger still?
Yeah. Yep,
Well,
you're
yes.
right, Zell. The world is in danger. We need to help the world. Come on, let's finish this delicious cup of tea and go to the king.
I just look at Luke's eyes like, the ale's better. Do you want my tea?
Nope. Nope, I'm good. Thanks. Oh. You're offering me your tea. Yeah, I'll take
Yes. I'm offering you the tea because the ale tastes better.
it. Oh, great. Okay. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Zell.
There's
Wow.
nothing sly going on, I promise.
What a friend. Ooh.
Thordain is just back to his quiet self, just sipping his ale, taking in his surroundings.
And
Has
what?
Thordain ever been to Feshin Fae?
Thordain has never been to Feshin Fae. This is quite different than his woodland elf culture that he originally grew up in and is from. He spent a decent amount of time of his life trekking through the Subterran, but this is opulence at its finest. Elven societies in general are known for kind of their high-end establishments, really refined detail, and overly ornate decor. This one is exactly that, but slightly different from your guy. You guys, if you remember, when you were on the airship, you had a very brief look at Hightower, where there was essentially golden spires that erected towards the heavens. This is subtler than that. It's not as gaudy. It's not as, in Japanese terms, gira gira, which is like flashy. This is very kind of like laid back, but very opulent and elegant. But everything of the city seems it's perfectly put together. Not messy at all. This seems like paradise. Like compared to Takai Town, which Takai Town was a very much a kind of like vacation kind of destination, but it was a mission, like a hodgepodge of a bunch of different cultures that had come there, and so it exemplified that. Where this is very clearly like set like one culture, like everyone assimilates to Feshin Fae culture when they are here.
Okay.
And there's very rigorous standards compared to Takai Town. Pretty much anybody can get off the boat at Takai Town. Here, that's not necessarily the case.
Cool. Sounds good. Belbin, how are you feeling about this? It's beautiful, isn't it?
Feels great.
Question: how does it relate to the high class things in the Silverwood?
So it kind of has a similar Eastern type of architecture, but it's definitely more coastal. Like Silverwood especially tends to be more of like a forested, more mountainous kind of terrain, like kind of traditional, more like Glyvan, Japanese-y buildings. From that, this seems to, from what you're familiar with, be more reminiscent of something that you would find at like Golden Sands for the Golden Sands Glyvan. So it'd probably be kind of like a similar feel to that. But this one is, again, the opulence is incredible. It's not as much of attention to simplicity and more like it's more grandiose. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just like, how much would it remind Luxalia of fancy places in Silverwood / Golden Sand?
Probably not a whole lot. I mean, maybe it's like a little bit familiar, but it's not like so much to be able to like be like, oh, like this is home.
Sure. Okay. Great. Good to know.
Bill is getting increasingly uncomfortable.
But Zill, it's okay because
Don't belong here.
well, no, neither do I. But we have a mission, right?
Do you remember
Yeah.
that bath thing that we took into Kai Town?
Why, of course. How could I forget? We fought monkeys after all.
I think they do that like every day here.
Oh, that sounds great, doesn't it?
It must be so fancy.
Well, I mean, you should splurge a little bit in the fanciness, I guess. Zill, you haven't really had the opportunity to sit back and relax, but now you're Mr. Moneybags.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
As his
Well, I thought you
pockets
were
shingling.
I thought you were saying that they must fight monkeys every day here, not take
Well,
baths.
that too, maybe. I don't know. I don't know the fauna
Everything's
and the
just
beast.
very clean. There's not that sweet, sticky layer of grime I've become used to.
That's not sweet, Zill. I'm sorry that's what you've become used to. This is a lot better. It's a lot better.
There are people who don't like the grime layer?
No, Zill, I think you're alone in that. Even Belvin, I don't think, likes the grime layer. Right,
Oh,
Belvin?
back me up here.
No, I'm with Zill.
Thank you.
I got one haircut one time, and I looked fabulous.
You did. And didn't you enjoy that, Belvin? Didn't you enjoy that?
Pretty
Thordain-
nice, but not worth it.
Thordain kind of looks at the group of you and he says, and he thinks deep and hard, contemplative. He says, Yuki, I believe I'm with you, with one rare exception. He pulls out of his backpack a well-seasoned cast iron pan.
Oh,
Now this is the grime layer I can get behind.
good
Like-
stuff.
The bath we had was amazing. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't feel natural.
The best part of that was having the monkeys fling poop at us.
Why are we
was
talking
not
about
bad.
this?
I don't know. Yuki just shakes her head. It's just like, men.
What do you mean, men? All the girls I helped raise would agree with me.
Well, that's because they were raised by you, Zill.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh,
Nothing.
I will
mean,
say it is a little more fancier than my taste can handle usually, but I am appreciative of it.
Like I said,
Very
it's
historical.
nice.
exactly.
It's very nice. It just doesn't feel natural.
Yuki's gonna call over, what's her name? Elise. Excuse me.
Alyssey.
Alyssey, excuse me.
Oh, yes. And you see this young barmaid come scurrying her way over. She's got this kind of like this graceful, captivating look to her. She's not dressed like a typical barmaid you would find in Helix, but like very elegantly adorned, as if she is like someone who's like very special here. She possesses kind of this almost like ethereal beauty. And then she has cascading golden kind of like locks, dirty, sandy golden locks, and very enchanting sapphire eyes as well. She's got this delicate smile that hints at, from what you can tell, you look closely and you're not quite sure. Yuki, make a wisdom skill check for me.
Wisdom. I'm pretty good at wisdom. Well, it's not amazing. Wisdom. That's an 11.
11. You look at her eyes and you can see like this bright smiling kind of like blue sapphire in her eyes, but you're not sure. But there seems to be almost kind of like this small hint of sorrow. Maybe it's just like the deep color of her eyes that it's really bringing you back, actually specifically Yuki, to your hometown of Flamongolith. It really transports you back to the snowy wastes that are the north of the Rayla Tundra. But she is a beacon of light amidst this, and as she approaches, she almost like gives off kind of like the sheen and like shine, illuminating kind of your table and just the general ambiance of the tavern.
This tea is absolutely divine. Is there any way that we could purchase it for our travels? Is there in particular a way that it needs to be prepared?
Well, every single day, and she points back over to the counter. Every single day, Aranis, he does import these from the seabed farms, which are down inside the bay of Feshin Fay. And he does package some to be sold at market, but they usually sell quite fast. And between us, buying it here and drinking it here, the way that we prepare it is very difficult to duplicate. And so, I would drink it here if that's not the case. But that's not to say you can't buy it from the market. I do believe they are sold out today, but if you come back tomorrow bright and early, you might be able to pick some up for yourself.
Why, thank you for the information. By the way, what is your status here? You seem, oh my goodness, you're radiant, and you glow. You fill this entire place with light.
She kind of looks like taken aback. Oh, no, don't be silly. I'm just an average girl here. And you look around and you see that there are some other female patrons, and yeah, they're all beautiful, like gorgeous, but like there's something about her. You don't know how old she is, but based off of her demeanor, you can tell that she's pretty young. Maybe there's kind of like this sense of hope that's like within her that you're drawn to, but she says, no, it's, I believe you must be mistaken. But me, I work here to serve you. I work here to serve everybody here. Well, I guess you would call it from back west a barmaid. But here, I'm simply a servant.
A barmaid. And Yuki thinks back to like all the barmaids she's ever met. And she's like, no, I think you're a little bit of a diamond among the rough. I've never met a barmaid in all of my travels quite as stunning as you. There must be some sort of reason for that. Do you come from noble lineage? Do you... I mean, we're here to see King Farrand himself, but I don't know.
Are you indeed? You must be special. And she looks at all of you. Are you emissaries of some kind from distant lands?
Well, I mean, we each come from our own different place. I mean, I come from the far north city of Flamongolith myself, but we all come from different parts and different walks of life, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, what was that, Zil? We are on a mission, yes. Yeah. Save the cheerleader, save the world, right? Yeah. Sorry. But yes, we are actually here on an important mission because, as my cohort over here, Zil stated, we actually have important business with King Farrand. But we don't necessarily know the customs too much. Is there anything that we should know before we meet him?
As long as you follow the rules of the city, you shall be welcomed with open arms. That's the one thing about Feshin Fay that, while perhaps our rules are strong to maybe outsiders, but everybody abides by them here. As long as you follow those rules, anybody can treat with whoever they want. In fact, I call myself a servant, but here in Feshin Fay, there's not really poverty. There's not really sense of... What I'm trying to say is social status doesn't matter here. We all serve a purpose and we all do our jobs and we're all good at what we do. We grow up with our with these values instilled in us. And whenever we have something to say to the royalty here, King Farrand, oftentimes he does greet us with open arms. But we also do know we don't come to him with frivolous issues, you see.
Well, we appreciate your advice. Does anyone else have any questions before we
Yeah,
head
I've
out?
got one. So you've talked a lot about rules. How do they know when someone does something bad?
Well, have you seen the Tide Guard? And she points out, and you can actually like very visibly see like there's like patrol of like guards that are around, and well,
Supposed to pay attention to those rules?
yes, of course. You were allowed in here because of that. Isn't that correct? You were read the rules of our
definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
She smiles. Yep. Indeed. As long as you abide by those rules, you shall be fine.
So they've got the guards.
Yes.
Wait, say I needed to relay that to someone else. What were the most important ones again? I obviously know them, but I want to.
Well, there's 10 of them, and the rules
Remember
that
honesty.
well yes, honesty is very important. The rules that encompass all of the ways of life in Fashion Fae. Our first law is alomnic reverence. Our second one is respect, of course. Our third one is environmental stewardship. We are people who live of both land and sea, and it is the sea which we are able to get our sustenance for life, and we serve here in Fashion Fae to protect the waters, but also the terrestrial land that is here. We also have non-violence. If there's any... I mean, to answer your question, sir, and she kind of nods over to you, Belbin. If anybody does cause a ruckus in the streets, it's quite obvious. The Tide Guard will be on you in but a moment. Honesty, as well, as you had mentioned. It's important to be honest. We also have laws of harmony to be able to live lives together, incorporating different cultures and values as long as they do.
You have held in harmony.
Yes, as long as you continue to follow our laws, we will respect your cultures and your values. Sustainable practices. So, if you are done with your meals, we prefer you not to trash our lands. We prefer for you to do what you can to be able to separate your garbage, as it were.
Oh Lord. Is this Japan?
Sounds an awful lot like Boulder. I mean, the separated. I just thought garbage was garbage.
Yes, and as you can see, it does not belong on the streets. Have you seen a single speck of garbage on our streets?
Do you have like invisible tunnels underneath the streets? I think I got some stuck on my boot.
No, of course not. No tunnels underneath. Oh. We're not earthen fairies. And she like laughs at you. We also have laws for cultural preservation. So us here in Fashion Fae, we take great care in the things that make us who we are, whether that's artifacts and preserving our architecture, preserving our way of life. And those who are visiting are asked to respect those things. While maybe necessarily you don't adhere to those, we ask you that you respect those. Additionally, hospitality, I guess that has more to do with us. Being hospitable to, within reason, of visitors within this here.
Well, you guys have done that one very well so far.
Besides not giving me my drink that I wanted. You broke one of your own 10 commandments.
Which drink would you like? You had an ale.
Yeah. I wanted a silver leaf with some alcohol in it.
Oh. Did you want to purchase a tea to go with your ale?
No, it's too late now. I'm just upset about it.
Well, if there's anything that we can do to make up for such a mistake, I shall go and talk with the curator to see what we can do.
All right.
Well, we go see the
Well,
kids.
isn't she nice, Belvin? Look at her. She could even put up with your gruffness. Well, I mean that's great. It's good to know that we are in good hands here, and we'll do our best not to break our laws. And Yuki looks over to Belvin and Zill, apparently.
Sorry.
So yeah,
It's gonna be fine.
I hope. Belvin
just
can't take any more of it.
drapes a napkin over the axe on his back.
All I heard is that if we need to do something, we gotta take out the little guard, and they don't have guards watching the guards. So
Belvin,
Guards
it's not gonna
watching
come-
the
Oh, I
guards.
It's not gonna come to that, Belvin.
Elsie, what was it?
Alyssey.
Elsie, Khaleesi. Is there a shrine here? No one
Shrine.
could visit?
Shrine. She thinks for but a moment. You mean any kind of religious place?
Yeah, like maybe with a community of like women who live together, or something like that.
She thinks deep and hard about that. Specifically for women, no. But if you're looking for any kind of religious practice, the Astral Archives might be your place for that. In fact, the Astral Archive serves as not only the archive for the city, but also the school for the children. And our place of worship and our place of practice. Here in Feshenfey, we follow the guidelines of the Alomnic faith.
Is there anything on runes here?
Runes. I'm not quite sure what you mean by runes, but if you're looking for something for any of your intellectual endeavors, the Astral Archives is your place.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank
I
you.
like it.
Indeed.
May Lamia guide you.
And with your spirit.
Quickly, before we stop by to the Royals District, is there any place we can look for if restocking on some supplies? Perhaps we have come a long way, and I know we've potentially used a lot. Turning to the party, if there's anything.
I could.
gotta check my inventory.
Yeah, I know.
Because I could use a restock on some things. She coyly whispers. By the way, Cole, did you ever put the gold topaz necklace into your inventory?
I wrote it down.
Okay, I have it here, still in here, just in case you hadn't transferred it yet. Let me know when you do, and I'll get rid of it from my inventory.
Okie dokie.
It's real good. It's real
Well, if you're
good.
looking for a place to restock any kind of supplies that you've used on your travels, the Starlight Market might be the place to be able to take a look to see what us here at Feshenfey can do to be able to help you in that endeavor of restocking.
I don't think it's of utmost importance, but at least on the way back before we leave, I would like to stop by there at least once.
Indeed, in fact, and she points kind of in like a northern direction from where you guys are at. It's not far, just a 5-minute walk.
Oh, great. Well, we'll have to head out
We
that
go
way.
down the way.
Yeah. I mean, is it on the way?
On the
Oh,
way
I see.
to the Royals District, you say?
The Royals District, yes.
Indeed. You have to continuously make your way north. It's probably by foot will take you about 45 minutes to reach the Royals District from here. Feshenfey is quite expansive, but I don't find that it's too difficult to get around.
We don't have to go through the water, do we?
Oh no, indeed. Actually, have you seen? Do you know much about Feshenfey? It seems that you're brand new to this city, so I'm just curious.
All I know is I don't swim good.
Well, I guess it depends. If you want to go visit the lower half of the city, that is primarily where it's called the Residence District. It's called the Residencies. And so the Residencies, and she explains very thoroughly and in depth, is where, well, it's where the populace live. Us elves of Feshenfey, we live our domestic lives below the sea. And so you'll notice at night there are nothing but guards, most likely, that make their way to and from here. And visitors, of course. But when everybody is done with their days and their trading and whatever endeavors up on the upper half of the city, they make their way back home beneath the waves to where they live. And just beyond that is the seabed farms And there is where we do all of our underwater agriculture, and much of our food is actually sourced from there. And beyond that, deeper into the Bay of Feshin Fay, we have the fishing grounds, where our fishermen hunt large game and small game as well.
Have you ever heard of a large sea monster?
Azaeldune, right?
Yeah, that one. Yep. It's really scary.
Our fishermen are quite skilled. Azaeldune, the name doesn't ring a bell to me, but that's not to say that it doesn't ring a bell to others perhaps in the city.
He's pretty scary.
Oh, have you met such a creature?
Oh yes,
Unfortunately,
he's
yes.
why our ship's kind of a mess.
Well, I'm glad that you are here, in one piece at least.
Thank you.
Well, we have to speak for the rest of our crew.
Did tragedy befall them?
Yuki has that look in her eyes, just like that dog meme of just like thinking back to the past. Or was it a cat? It's a cat, right? But yes, unfortunately, we ran into Azaeldune, the terror of the sea. So our first mate told us, and unfortunately, the majority of our crew perished in such the encounter. However, we made it. Some of us. Mostly
Keep them
one
in
piece.
your prayers.
Only the strong survived.
Well, you must be quite strong indeed, each one of you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have our strengths and our weaknesses, of course, but we are hardy. We are hardy folk. We've been through quite a bit in our time together, so
I may be old and salty, but I've got a six-pack.
it's true.
So
He's got a bazillion ab muscles. That's true.
I see. Yes, I did notice. Is
It's
that something cultural for you, not wearing clothing?
No,
you need to respect my culture just as I have to respect yours, right?
Hence the reason I ask. I'm only inquiring.
Yeah. It's
it's
part of my
really not.
culture.
It's just a him thing. That's...
Well, I will say, you would be winning bodybuilding competitions if you were here.
I'll just wink at her.
Eat his ego too much.
Anyway, we should probably be getting to the king.
Indeed,
Thank
indeed.
you so much for your
I think I might
hospitality.
stay with Alyssa.
No,
Oh, do you require another drink? Shall I go?
Nope.
Talk to the curator?
no. He has had enough. We're going. Okay, bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Please visit us again.
May
And she bows and
Lord
then-
guide you.
I will.
And Amaterasu. May she guide you as well. Goodbye.
Farewell
Okay.
for
And I
now.
drag Belbin out by the ear.
Are you willingly leaving, or do you need to be dragged out, Belvin?
I won't put up too much of a fight, but I'm also not helping you too much, Luxalia.
With some
Start a
struggle.
fist fight. See what they do. Yeah, we should see what they do in the streets.
No violence.
Alvin, violence is one of the rules. Let's not break it.
Yeah, but violence is part of my culture.
But they only respect culture as far as it doesn't break their laws. Aren't you listening?
Yeah. I'm glad someone listened.
So one of
They
theirs
only
is
took
about
twice.
peace. One of theirs is about peace, and they're willing to do anything to keep the peace. What if that includes not being peaceful to keep the peace?
You're overthinking it. I think.
At the very beginning, when you first entered the city, so essentially those who break laws, one of three things potentially happen. You're either expelled from the city, just flat. You're either imprisoned, that's pretty serious. And then one, you're expelled from the city indefinitely. And so you cannot return to Feshin Fay. And so they will do what they can to basically kick you out. So... and you will not be welcome. So that's what happens. They're not going to kill you in the streets, but they're going to remove you from the situation.
And then kill you.
It's kind of like how Disney doesn't have deaths on property. They don't die until they're off property.
What?
Just kidding. I don't know. I heard that somewhere. I don't know.
Like the alligator that chomped the kid way back in the day.
He wasn't dead until he got off property, and then nobody dies in Disney. Dang it.
What?
I don't know how true that is, but I heard that once.
Anyways,
I don't work for them
nobody dies in Fesh and Fae.
yet. Yeah, nobody dies in Fashion Fan except by old age.
True.
Oh wait.
But then they
Elves die in this?
elves do die in this, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The average lifespan is about 750. So long lives, but they do die. So. All right, and so you leave. You meander on through the city, walking the 5 minutes towards the Starlight Market. And it's the center of commerce and craftsmanship within the city. It holds a plethora of color and bustling activity. Immaculate stalls line the pristine avenues, each adorned with vibrant awnings and intricate carvings, exhibiting the pride and confidence of the vendors. With a keen eye for quality, they showcase their wares from finely crafted arms and armor that gleam in the sunlight to a cornucopia of delectable food and that tantalizes the senses. As you navigate the market, you'll discover a treasure trove of artisanal crafts and trinkets, each bearing the mark of the creator's skill and passion. Vendors are eager to share their stories behind their creations, and they exude a sense of pride knowing the value and excellence of their offerings. Yet, you must be cautious with your words. You can tell that there's a sense of pride that does come with their trinkets as well.
Nice. Are there any specific stalls when it comes to like elixirs, potions, anything like that? Or not even necessarily potions, but like healing items, herbs of the sorts?
Yes, and actually there's a very clear stall that is adorned with that. If anything, it's more of a storefront as you make your way in. Can you read Elvish? Who can read Elvish in the group?
Unfortunately, only Thordane. Yep, only Thordane.
He's serving as the guide.
He used to be able to, but then he forgot, and she learned a whole new language. That's great.
Thordane serves as the guide. Everything is written in Elvish here. So
Okay.
You make your way over to essentially this very, very quaint, but again, opulent shop. As you make your way in, there's not even like a bell or anything. There's more of just kind of like this air of just like air conditioning coming through, and you're just like, oh, like welcoming you in almost. You immediately begin to smell an assortment of herbs and spices, almost as if you are walking into a kitchen to some degree. But you do see a very gentle elven merchant, and she is standing at the very far end behind a counter.
Okay. Excuse me, madam. Do you and Yuki speaking in Everspeech common? Does she respond to this?
She does.
Okay. Excuse me, madam. We just came a long distance, and we would like to restock on some supplies. Do you happen to have any?
Ah, indeed. This woman seems rather gentle, and as she begins to look and basically showcase everything that she has. Is there anything specifically that you're looking for?
Well,
Tend to get hurt a lot.
yeah, unfortunately.
Hurt?
Quite often.
Within the city?
No.
No.
We are travelers. We are travelers of the world, and we are tasked with keeping the peace of the world, and that comes with conflict from time to time. And so, it's that time to resupply.
Well, you are more than welcome here. In fact, if you are who you say you are, and you are protectors of the grander world, I'm more than happy to be able to sell my wares specifically to you.
Oh, great. Well, what do you have for sale?
Well, if you're looking for something to be able to cure any ailments or any afflictions to your own body, here's what I have. And she pulls out kind of like from behind like a glass case and places it up on the counter. Assortment of basically bottles and flasks and whatnot. With inside each of these, she has what looks to be about 4 flasks of, or no, 4 vials of essentially just health potions. They're going to be improved health potions.
Oh, that's good.
And then she has 2 bottles, like large bottles of what look to be basically like the lesser mana potion, whatever that one is.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, what will these run us if we decide to pick these up and purchase them?
Well, for adventurers such as yourself, and she thinks hard for but a moment. You say you are protectors of the world, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course.
And she begins
Eclaas by name.
Eclaas Eeas, and she thinks for but a moment. Ah, that's a Lomnic speech, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Ah, the senders, indeed. It's quite interesting. Were you sent here to Feshenfei for any particular reason? As she is basically takes out a abacus and starts like putting together all of her. Yeah.
Well, we actually seek counsel with King Farrand himself. We were sent by King Nalgoric Cragheim from Flomberge down on Aishan Island as emissaries of sorts.
I see. And she nods to herself. Well, if you are here for such an important purpose, do know that we are very grateful for your help for whatever your task is abroad. And then she kind of shows you the kind of math that she put out. For each vial, it's going to run you 15 EC of for our reliable health potion. I do find that this is at quite a discount.
Nice.
Is this improved or reliable?
Improved, sorry.
Improved, okay. Thordane's gonna step up and he's gonna be like, "Why, I am the captain of this ship and this brigade. On me," and he'll buy all 3 of those and
4.
divvy them
There's
out.
4 of them.
All
Wait.
4 of them. Divvy them out
15, you say, per vial?
Per vial.
per vial.
How about 25 for 2 vials, but you pour them into this flask and keep your vials.
I see you are abiding by our laws.
That's true. Conservation, it's good.
Wait. Sustainability?
It's good.
Yes,
Obey your laws.
I will, of course, have a discount for that.
Great. I've got 2
so-
empty flasks. So, you said there was 4 vials,
Indeed.
Perfect.
so we
Well,
can do
Zil,
50 for all 4, because I've got 2 empty flasks, so we can fit all 4 of them in these 2,
Indeed.
and you keep your vials.
Indeed.
okay.
50
Thordane's like,
EC.
why? Why, that's great. And he buys them all from her.
For 50 EC. If you are interested in any of these mana potions, so what were they? Lesser? I don't think they're called lesser in Everlast. What are they called?
I can take a quick look.
Simple?
Simple. Yes, simple.
Simple.
Wait, so
These simple mana potions, they take quite a bit to be able to prepare, so they're going to be a little bit pricier. I could part with these for 20 EC a piece per vial of these. So bottles, so they each have 3 charges. If you want to buy it full up, so it's going to be 60 EC.
Yuki says, well, I mean, it would be great if I used mana, but I don't really use a lot of mana in my time. Anyone else need anything? Quick question, Kyle. Clarification question. When is it appropriate to use a mana potion again? Like, when do we even use our mana in general?
So mana is used. So you have like your grand total of mana, and that helps you to determine like what arts, because each art has a cost, and when you equipped an art, it consumes like your mana. Each art has a set. Oh, I think we lost Dean. But each art has a set amount of charges per art that you can use, and when you use a mana potion, it replenishes those charges of the art. It doesn't replenish your mana, but it replenishes the charges of the art. I don't know if Dane heard any of that.
I did. Sorry. My internet cut out. We got awful rain going on right now. Yeah.
Did you hear any of that?
I did hear. Yeah. So they replenish charge as opposed to the
Instead of the mana total.
total.
Yeah. And so that's what those are for.
Well, does anyone need any of these? Yuki looks in her pockets and she thinks she's pretty good about it.
I got plenty.
No, I think we're good.
Okay, well, thank you for your services. We appreciate the discount, and we will do our best to protect the life of this world in Alumnia's stead.
And for protecting our lands with your sustainability.
Yeah, like it. All right. Is there any like weapon stalls or anything?
Yeah,
Quickly.
there are. Absolutely.
Quickly.
And so you actually notice
Guys, we're not gonna get to the king before they close for the evening.
King never closes.
Kings never close. No. So you make your way to throughout this, and you very clearly do see that there are weapon stalls and armor. These stalls are very like elven craft gear. These look like very high quality weapons and armor.
By the way, this was Thordane who asked, not Yuki.
Okay, yeah, very, very high quality. You make your way over to this elven merchant, and it's a gentleman that's standing behind a counter, and he looks like he's been hard at work crafting, as if he is some kind of a smith. And he has this piercing gaze as Thordane approaches. What could I do for you?
Why, hello, good sir. I am the captain of Alumnia's Breath, and we just came from a long expedition from down south. We are looking to restock on some supplies.
Restock on supplies. What are you looking for? Clearly you're an adventurer. He sees like the bow and the sword equipped on Thordane. Clearly you look like an adventurer from abroad.
Is there anything unique Fashion Fae craft that might be of use to us?
Everything here is an elven craft, and a fine elven gentleman such as yourself has a keen eye to be able to see such things. We here at Fashion Fae, we pride ourselves in our ability to be able to craft weapons that not only serve to cut through any kind of flesh that we come across, but they're light and easy to wield.
Well, that sounds perfect. What do you have, good sir?
And he basically shows Thordane a number of things. So there's like Serdiks, there's Sertangs, so elven blades. He has a couple like broadswords. He does have what looks to be a mace that he has created, and a number of like woodcraft items too. He also shows armor. He has some heavier armors. You can tell he doesn't quite do like leather armors, but he works a lot on chain. And so a lot of kind of like chain cuirasses, chain mail, corselets, those types of armor pieces.
Thordane looks in his pockets and he's like, Sertings, you say? We haven't come across any of those in our time, but I guess we also haven't traveled through many elven civilizations. What do you have available as far as Sertings goes?
He shows you.
Belvin have a Sertang?
He does, but he looted that, and Belbin took it for himself. But Thordane has a legendary sword Sertang that he can't use appropriately, so yeah. So it'd be nice if he could actually have a Sertang you could use for the time being.
So he puts 3 Sertangs out on the counter, and you can tell that they are made with different materials of various rarities. The first one is going to be just a common iron Sertang. This is still very eloquently crafted, and all of them have the elven craftsmanship. And so essentially what that is it adds an additional +1 to your hit. So +1 to your melee. So if you have that. He has a steel one as well, and he has
a uncommon, right?
Yes, and then he's a Damascus one, which is rare.
All right.
Okay.
Thorin thinks to himself, I am looking for. I am used to using a Sertang. However, I think this Damascus one is a little bit out of my league currently. What would you take for this steel Sertang? Good sir?
Yes, this is something that I'm quite proud of. A wondrous work of art, and this blade is exquisite. The nice curvature and shape to it. It has elven letters etched on the side, essentially a prayer to Alumnia. Etched in the side of it, which is really cool and really neat. And it's steel, and it's very like completely unblemished. Like it's perfectly laid out, and like there's not like any kind of markings of any kind of flaw on it. The handle itself is it's perfect for like a hand and a half. And so it can be wielded two-handed, but this one looks like to be like more of like a one-handed type weapon, and it looks to be wrapped in a interesting kind of bluish-looking leather, one that you haven't seen before. But it could be dyed leather, or you have no idea. But it looks really nice. For this one though, if you are curious in this, I could part with this for 120 EC.
120 EC. Is that a good deal? Would Thordain know at all?
Make
good
a
deal?
wisdom skill check.
He doesn't want to haggle too much with these folk because they seem nice, but
Does anyone else find it ironic that a city that doesn't allow violence has a bladesmith?
yeah, you gotta upkeep the
Well,
guard,
you
right?
have to realize too, they don't allow violence inside the city. Like there's still like adventurers and warriors and like people that are allowed in the city that purchase such things, and they need to have smiths to be able to equip their military as well.
That's a dirty 16, by the way.
So like think of like the society as like a city that like is like, hey, you can't be violent, you can't kill people in the streets, but we're still going to allow you to keep their weapons. Your weapons weren't taken from you or like anything like that. And so it's like they're trusting that you're not going to do anything.
5 axes.
Yeah, they're trusting that you're not going to just like murder people in the streets. And if that's the case, there's consequences for it. So
Sure.
yeah.
That was a
16?
16. Yeah.
From what he can look, based off of the quality of this, that's about par for the course.
Okay. Thordain's like, yes, unfortunately I can't use this divine thing, and he takes out his Gladys and just like runs his hand over it. One day, and he re-equips it.
The elven, make a influence skill check for me. The elven smith, he kind of like narrows his eyes as he looks at this legendary blade. Yeah.
Natural 16 plus 1, which is a 17.
He looks at like his own work, and he looks at that and says, "I'm quite confused, sir. This blade of yours," and he investigates it, "looks to be of ancient craft. What would you be wanting one of my wares? Not to say my weapons are anything to scoff at, but this is a work of art." And he like very impressively looks at the Gladys.
And Thordain thinks to himself, he's like, yes, it is quite an exquisite item, isn't it? I mean, that's what you get when you're an adventurer. You come across some pretty exquisite things in your time. However, it seems a little bit unwieldy at the moment for me. It definitely isn't as light as one of your fair weapons here. It's a little bit much for me at the moment.
Well, I will say this, and he's like, wish I could find some more time to study this, to see its properties. But I will say, if you're looking for a weapon that is light, durable, and will do the job, mine will more than fulfill that need.
And I appreciate it, my good sir. I will take it. How much did he say? 120 EC?
120 EC.
And he will take that.
But wait, before you do depart,
Oh, yes.
free of charge, I can look into this weapon for you.
Yes, I would love that. He's not gonna like hand it over. I can stop by after we have counsel with King Ferrand himself, and maybe we could go over some stuff together.
King Ferrand, so you must be important. Not very many travelers come through here seeking an audience with the king.
Important, I wouldn't necessarily say. In fact, we are all living beings in this world of Everlast, aren't we?
Indeed.
So, we're just charged with protecting it, and he's the person we currently need court with. We need counsel with. So
Well, if that is the case, please do return. I am more than interested to see what this weapon of ancient craft has in store for me. It's not every day a bladesmith gets to look at such a masterpiece.
Well, sir, before we go,
Ah,
do you have anything in the way of axes?
axes. Axes. He looks into his inventory and he sifts through. Unfortunately, lad, us elves aren't known for axes. If you're looking more for spears, blades, and bows, that's typically what I specialize in crafting.
What about materials, smithing materials?
Oh, raw materials indeed.
Yes.
Don't have a lot of people coming through here asking for such things, but I might have a few materials of interest if you're willing to purchase them.
Yes.
And he goes back into his stores. He only brings out completely built ingots, essentially.
Okay.
Completely crafted. He doesn't have the raw materials, or he's not going to present those to you. He has essentially 2 billets of basically Damascus ingot. He has 4 steel ingots, and he's got 12 iron ingot.
Is this the nicest you have?
This is pretty exquisite. And he pulls up the Damascus ingot, and he looks it up and down. And are you looking for anything particular?
I mean, Damascus, I do need some Damascus, yes, so I do have my eye on that. But also, I pull out the Refinium long axe that I have. You see, this is the quality I'm looking for, but I need it to look like this, and I pull out my battle axe. So I want this quality and this style.
He takes it and he says, Refinium. Wow, interesting. Tell me, what smith crafted such a weapon?
I'm not sure. This one, well, the Damascus one was the smith who trained me, but the Refinium we found we got in the Jungle Keep, right?
Yeah.
In a lair of a nasty sorcerer.
Well, that sounds like a difficult situation, but from the looks of it, considering your company here and the type of weapons that you keep, perhaps I should go exploring myself. And he chuckles to himself a little bit. But Refinium is a very rare material to come by. In fact, it's only once in a blue moon that we even get any traders that come through willing to sell me Refinium. You see, in these lands here around Feshin Fey, Refinium is not a common material at all. In fact, Refinium deposits tend to be found actually on Aishan Island, in fact, but also up in the Refinium peaks. Down here in Feshin Fey, well, from the raw materials that we can gather from just around, Damascus is going to be the highest quality that we're going to be able to provide.
Okay.
However,
Well,
there is an earthen fairy every now and then that will come through with some Refinium to have. If I could have your name, and perhaps a way to track you, if I ever do within the city, such as a place of stay or anything as such, if I do end up getting anything in, I will reach out to you as a potential buyer.
good. I give him my information. I don't know what location information I'll give him, but
You could do probably like Alomnia's Breath, your ship.
yeah. But I pull out my little hand axes. These are in need of an upgrade too, so they're steel right now. I am interested in that Damascus. How much for? There's 2 of them.
2 of them. I
How
could
much
part.
for both?
I could part with each for 40 EC, an ingot.
So 80 total. Okay. Let's see. Do I have anything to trade? I don't think so. AGEC, you say? You've got yourself a deal.
Ah, lovely. And he hands over the ingot as you pass over the Evercoin. He very delicately places it in what looks to be a safe box. And you can see that it is full of coin and treasures. This place must be popular.
Also, would you know the nearest leathersmith?
Leathersmith.
Leather worker, I guess.
Yes. Well, in this town, we tend to get a lot of our leather works from foreigners. We don't work too well with leathers. There are weavers here and there that deal with cloths and silks and such.
I just need a bigger bag. Can't you? It's overflowing.
Oh, if you're looking for bags, perhaps you could go over there. And he points over to another stall just across the way. And you can see this very eccentric-looking elven woman. She's got kind of like this like monocle, and you can see that her storefront is decorated with an assortment of wares, all kinds of what look to be probably traded items from other travelers that have come through Fashion Fae.
We can skip over the roleplay if we need to move on, but does she have anything bigger than plus 20 pounds of a backpack?
Let's see.
Oh yeah, backpacks. I forgot about that.
We don't need to waste too much time on this, but I do want a bigger backpack.
Absolutely. Let's see. She does, actually. She happens to have one in particular that does catch your eye.
Okay.
And it is going to be a... Need to find the price sheet for it.
It's probably gonna be like 1,000 EC or something.
1,000.
Leatherwork's expensive. Oh yeah.
I've got some things to trade. By things, I mean I have like one thing.
Yes. We have, she goes over, she has a dungeoneering backpack.
Ooh.
This is going to provide you a plus 40 to your carrying capacity.
How much for it?
And so this, if you just buy it straight out without any kind of bartering or trading, is going to cost you 30 EC.
What if I throw in my current questing backpack?
That'll reduce the price by 5 EC.
Great. Sold.
All right. And so
Just
25
takes his
EC.
backpack up, feels like this.
Is this by 30? Sorry, did you say 30?
Yeah, 30 EC.
25.
That's. Well, no. As far as like carrying capacity goes.
Oh, plus 40.
Oh, it's as good as Gloof now. Let's go.
Let's go. Zill has been... He left so much stuff on the ship right now.
It's good.
It's
Because
nice
of
when you're
the
carrying
backpack.
heavy armors and weapons and stuff around with you. It's your backpack's gonna be hanging by a thread.
Good. It's good.
All right, cool.
There's a very comical moment of him shaking out his current one and trying to stuff everything back in the new one.
Yeah, it causes a ruckus and quite a distraction. Everyone around is just like curiously looking at you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really needed this.
People are
There's
laughing.
meat
People are
flying
taking it in
around,
good
there's some
spirit.
ingots
But
rolling.
as that happens, though, like
life.
a number of elves do actually come up and start helping you, like collecting all of the meat that's flying around and dusting it off and giving it back to you. Yeah, they're quite nice here.
Sorry, I have one more quick question. Not like buying anything, but like just housekeeping.
Mhm.
How do I add weapons into my inventory? Is there a specific way in order to do that?
No, you just type it in, and then basically you go to your inventory, and then you just delete it.
Copy and paste.
Yeah, copy paste, and then go back to the inventory and delete. Or if you want to keep it in your inventory, you can just like delete the weight of it.
Huh? What? Delete? Why are we deleting? I'm trying to add.
No, from your inventory. So you take it, you move it from your inventory to your on person. And then if you want to subtract it from the total of like your carrying capacity, you can just
Oh,
delete the weight.
I'm talking about like how do we like actually add it into our weapons in our inventory? Like add it in there.
Yeah,
Do
you just
type it in.
Yeah, just type
Okay.
it in. Go to
so I can-
there's the item list, and then you can
And I can
copy
copy and
paste
paste?
and then
Okay,
just
okay.
throw it in there. Should have
All
all
right,
the
that's all I was
information.
wondering. Cool. All right.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
good.
Sweet.
Okay.
And with that, anything else you guys want to see in the markets?
Sorry for boring, guys. Being boring.
No, it's okay. It's questions that need to be asked and answered. So where's the party off to now? Just to the Royals district?
Let's go.
Let's go to the king.
All right.
Let's go
And
to the king. King, let's all get away. They say what they can say.
So you guys wander.
Return of the King. It's good.
Yes, you guys wander, and you make your way over to the Royals district. It takes, again, about 40 minutes by foot, but it's very easy to see as it does erect itself high above. The markets are rather large, and there's a decent amount of things for sale, but you can tell that each vendor is very specialized in the things that they have. Most of actually, as you wander through kind of like this like central district, most of what you see is open spaces, luxurious gardens, beautiful overlooks. You can tell that everything here is built to be like this flowing work of art. So as you're venturing from one side of the city to another, it's really built for you to appreciate the grandeur of just the greater city and the kind of natural bay that's down below. Everything has scenic views. It is very beautiful as far as a city is concerned. And so you continue to make your way until you get to this Royals district. You start making your way up kind of what looks to be like a mountain, almost like a spire that is at the very north end that this Royals district is built upon. And there's this long gangway that goes all the way up to this secondary ring wall, which looks to be a fortress. So standing, let me just go ahead and read to you what we got here. So standing at the threshold of the formidable ring wall, the one that I just mentioned, safeguarding the Royals district, the Royal Barracks proudly stands as the bastion of festive phase military might. Constructed with imposing architecture, the barracks exude an aura of strength and discipline. And so you have to essentially go through a secondary checkpoint in order to get inside the ring wall into the Royals district. And so you arrive there. And this one, like the Tide Guard checkpoint, the initial one you came through, like is nothing compared to this. Like literally the walls are made out of like marble with like pearl like encrusted into it. Like it's beautiful to be able to behold. And this wall, instead of standing about 10 feet tall, this one stands about 20 to 30 feet tall. So much so that it completely covers, except all but the tip of what looks to be a palace inside the Royals' grounds. You're immediately stopped by a voice that actually barks from up high on the tower. Hi, who goes there?
Eclaas, Eeas! We seek counsel with King Farron of Fashion Fay.
You
Who
seek...
goes there?
Ah! My name is Captain Tavian. I am here protecting the Royals district, and I am a personal guard to King Farron himself. I have no news of a meeting that is to be held.
I have
Well,
no
let me
news
ask
either.
you, what has a higher airspeed velocity? A swallow from Africa or Europe? I mean, a swallow from the Golden Sands or Flamberge?
Swallows.
You think they could carry coconuts?
Coconuts.
What's a coconut?
Do you come seeking counsel for matters of birds and coconuts?
No.
Of course not! It's merely a riddle. and I've been pondering it all day.
Ah, you continue with that, but there's important matters at hand.
We are, as said, emissaries from Nalgoric Cragheim. More so from his position as holder of the fire key rather than king of, Flomberge.
So you say you come from the Draken city of Flomberge in order to discuss the matter of keys. The sea key,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
And who are you to be able to present such thing? I don't know if you said it, but I didn't listen.
We are Eclaas
Yep.
sent from... Wait, what?
You're
King
not
of
here.
Nalgoric
You
Cragheim.
said that.
I did. It's all good.
Have we told them that we have the Earth Key, and are we planning on it?
Yuki's offended.
That's all good. It's all good.
To the party, above game. Are we gonna tell him?
Well, I mean, why wouldn't we, right?
I don't know. I don't know how secret we try to.
Do we want to flaunt to the world that we have this Earth Key? I don't know.
What if their government's corrupt?
Yeah.
I feel like something would have shown. Everything has been evidence to the contrary.
Quiet. Too quiet.
Are we gonna tell him?
Yeah, I think we should. We're not gonna get in unless we do tell him.
You know, I heard this story once of this place that seemed too good to be true, and then there was this, like, undercover earthbender people. It was really scary. They killed a guy.
We
Oh.
we have picked up the fallen mantle of the Order of Ashalinthil.
Fallen mantle. What is it do you mean by this?
We are now the keepers of the Earth Key.
Yeah.
Are you?
We did not kill them. They were dead when we got there. And
They
we
were overrun by the.
No, you need to explain yourself.
They were overrun
Sorry,
by forces
Sounds
of evil.
guilty.
There was a golem trying to suck the energy out of the earth pillar that we were able to stop. And then there was some goblins when we went back with
Captain, we're just trying to waste your time.
what was the dragon's name?
Which one? Nazrahim or Smoldran?
Smoldran.
Smoldran. There it is. I'm like, I have it written down somewhere. We were on a mission from Nazrahim with Smoldran and Smoldran. There were some goblins there that we cleared out as well. So
I'm gonna have
things
all.
are.
I'm gonna have all of you make focus skill checks while Zill's talking. Not Zill. Zill's talking. So.
Why am I the spokesperson of the party?
It's okay. We did
18.
good. Yeah. Thordane got a natural 16 for a
Gosh.
20, and Yuki did something. Yuki got a 13.
Okay. Zill, continue.
I got a 19 with a natural 16.
Yo, let's go.
Holy smokes, guys.
So we came across the earth pillar with what we believe to be servants of Lolothi. And then there were similar issues going on at the fire pillar, so something is happening. We don't know what, but we know it's not good, and we're here on a mission to ensure the safety of the pillars.
Well, I hate to inform you, and as he says this, Belbin, Yuki, Luxalia, and Thordane all hear essentially trumpets coming from the city down below. Herald trumpets. I regret to inform you that the king is not here as of recently. He has been summoned on important news out beyond the waves. I can let you in. He shall be returning soon. And then, as you can assume, that's probably the sound of the heralds. You shall be escorted into the central courtyard upon his arrival. Or not upon his arrival. To await his arrival, and immediately out of basically like these two like steel doors from the building, a matter of basically 4 guards come out, and the gate itself lifts, and you're escorted into this courtyard. It is beautiful, just gardens upon gardens of what look to be almost like bioluminescent plants that you could even tell like in the daylight give off kind of like a shimmer. Directly in front of you, you see this enormously large palace, and it is completely adorned with similar architecture, but it almost stands as if it looks like seashells. That it's made of, but upon further investigation, you can see that in fact it is marble that this is made out of. And directly to the east of that, so to the right, you can see what looks to be like a large council chambers, where most of the important meetings happen to be. You can see that the palace itself, though, like has a wing that extends all the way to the west. It looks like it houses multiple people, not just one family. But as you look amongst, one thing that each of you notice is there doesn't seem to be any servants within the grounds at all. In fact, the elves that you see off in the distance look to be just normal elves or nobles of some kind.
Wow. This is quite an interesting experience. Is this truly where he lives? I don't see any servants among the king, Yuki proclaims to the party.
Immediately, the guard that you were talking to before comes down to join you, and his face kind of just like lightens a little bit. Still looking a little bit suspiciously at you, and Tavian laughs. Well, if you know nothing about Fashion Fae culture, we do not have a servant class here. Everybody is self-sufficient. Everybody does what they need for themselves. From birth and from childhood, we are imbued with a sense of duty. We don't rely on others to do what we can do ourselves.
Wow, that's quite noble of you. Quite a noble way of life.
But unfortunately, it makes it a busy way of life.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, right?
Not so indeed.
Does the king cook for himself?
The king, his wife, everybody within the royal family, distant relatives that live within the palace's walls, everybody has the skills that they need in order to survive and in order to live the lives that they have. As king, you cannot become king without, rigorous study on diplomacy and the ways of the Fashion Fae culture. You will find that King Farron himself, including his children, and he kind of mentions to that, his wife and his children, they all have the skill sets necessary in order to lead a country if he is to fall.
Okay. But does he cook?
Yes, he cooks. But that tends to be the queen's responsibility as well.
Hey, Captain.
Yes.
What is the king like? What are his favorite hobbies?
The king enjoys a good hunt. But at the same time, he enjoys treating with the common populace. Oftentimes he is not found within the royals district here. He's out amongst the people of the city.
Well, do we have common for him?
But he shall be returning at a moment's notice. And as you look up, you can see that there is a chariot that's coming in. And on this chariot, you have this large opulent figure who's standing at the front, and he seems to be like, he has the reins of this essentially carriage that has 4 horses. Although these horses are horses unlike you've ever seen before. They have the upper bodies of terrestrial horses and beings, but as their bodies kind of melts down towards their hooves seem to be made of water. As it turns into kind of this terrestrial creature. And so you don't hear the sound of hooves as they come. If anything, you hear the splashing of water as their hooves make their way inside these gates. I'm going to have all of you make knowledge skill checks for me. Thordane can have hope on this.
Oh, sweet. He needed it. Not that it helped all that much.
3.
Knowledge?
3. Delvin, you look at these things, you're like, I have no idea what the heck.
Thordane got a 9, and Yuki got a natural 16 plus 2, so 18.
10.
12, unless it has to do with religion, and then 13.
Yeah, it's not religious at all. And then Zil, what was yours?
10.
10. Luxalia and Yuki, you both recognize this as a creature of legend. In fact, Luxalia, you look at these and you're almost in disbelief as you see these creatures walk in. You've heard a bit about them, but you've never witnessed it for yourself. Yuki, on one occasion, you have seen such a creature, and it actually was just a happenstance. You've never shared this information with everybody, but as you and the party were making their way from the city of Helix to basically the city of Shiloh, in the distance you saw Loch Calum. If you remember the moment when Belvin killed the person and stole the pony and was trying to run away. During that moment, you thought you saw something glistening on the surface of Loch Calum. In fact, these are kelpies. They are seahorses that are essentially mythic creatures, but they are bred and trained here as the steeds of Fesh and Fae to be able to go out into the water. And this carriage itself, it has wheels, but you can tell that also just below it has almost ski-like appendages. So it glides across the surface of the water as well. In the leader of this chariot, he has a crown which looks to be a giant seashell, but it's adorned in gold and silver accents, and it rises kind of up quite high, almost like a helmet of some kind. And to his side, it looks to be a female, and to his other side, a male which looks very similar to him, and he has a smaller crown upon his brow.
Well, Yuki makes way, I guess, stepping aside.
Make way.
Yes, and in fact, you hear, "Make way for the king," as the carriage pulls up, and getting out of the chariot, King Farron steps down, and he's tall. He stands about 6'4", and so taller than the party as a whole. As he kind of towers over you, you see that he has this very regal appearance to him. He doesn't seem stern at all, but at the same time, there's this hint of kind of worry upon his face. But he looks at you, and his eyes smile for but a moment and says, "Ah, friends from distant lands. Tell me, who are you?"
We are Eclaas Eeas, and we were sent here by King Nalgoret Cragheim of Flumberge to have counsel with you.
And immediately stepping forward, Captain Tavian says, "They're here about matters of the Sea Key." And with understanding, King Farron, he nods and he says, he nods and looks over to the boy. "Aquilin, would you take your mother into the palace? I have some news to be able to discuss with this group of adventurers." And you guys make your way not into the palace, but into what looks to be the council chambers. You follow him. Guards stay their mark and do not follow you in. As you make your way into the council chambers, you are immediately shown this great hall that extends, that can be used. It has giant banquet tables line each side, and there's a small, very delicate-looking, kind of a high seat, not quite a throne, at the very end of it. But as you look up amongst the ceilings, you can see that they're intricately painted with all kinds of things. You see picturesque islands. You see what look to be rushing waters, boats, all kinds of things, as if telling an elaborate story of the sea. He stands up and he offers each of you a seat down at the banquet tables. Do you guys take them?
Of course.
Yes.
Yuki does.
Yes. Yes.
You've got to accept the hospitality.
True.
It's been a long walk. A lot of walking.
But yes, I'm sorry. Take.
You come discussing matters of the Sea Key, and you are sent by Nalgoric Cragheim, the keeper of the Fire Key.
Yes,
So you are emissaries of some kind, or do you have any kind of extra significance that I need know of?
Well, we are currently the rightful holders of the Earth Key, as appointed by King Nalgoric Cragheim himself. As unfortunately, the holders, the Order of Amandalius, no longer exist.
Also, we're trying to save the world
That's true. Yeah. Good point, Belbin.
after
Well,
we're done drinking our ale.
That is good. That is good news. But the news that you young ones shared, that is troubling indeed. The Order of Amandalius, they have their ancient roots back to that location. In fact, and he continues onward, the Order of Amandalius was established upon departure from the island of Ashalinthil, from the great city. And the Order was sent to keep safe the teachings of Alamnia, as evil spread within the First Age. The fact that you say that an end has been brought to them is troubling. But I will say, take courage. The Order of Amandalius is widespread throughout Everlast. Perhaps the keepers, those that were in charge of the Earth Key, perished. But the Order lives on, elsewhere throughout the seas and throughout Everlast.
Do you know how to contact them?
I know how to contact anybody. If I need to get my hands on anybody in these seas, I can do so with great haste.
Someone should probably let them know that they're not at the Earth Pillar anymore. I
Indeed,
don't know
and
if
he
you know.
snaps his fingers, and basically a individual comes from the Grand Hall. Kind of think of like in Harry Potter, like Filch, like running down like the central aisles and.
There's a troll in the dungeon!
Oh, I will say, Yuki pipes up. Currently, Smoldran, the dragon spawn, is at the Earth Pillar. So just be careful when you do get by. He's there, chilling.
So it is protected. It's not left unguarded, but
That is good to know. Clearly, you merry band of adventurers have friends in high places. The fact that you could have a dragon protect the island that you have been chosen to guard, that's impressive.
that was more Nazrahim's idea than ours. But we helped.
But the reason we were sent here actually is not because we're the holders of the Earth Pillar, but we have a duty to bring all the holders of all the keys together. There's problem with the Fire Pillar.
I see. And that finally, at this point, the elf makes his way down and whispering in the ear of this a young-looking elf, but you can tell, like, by his eyes, he has, like, small bags formed as if he has a lot of responsibility and a lot of purpose placed off his shoulder. And he leans down and says, Send word to the Order of Amandalius on Folded Rock. News. The Order has fallen down at the Earth Pillar. Smoldran, the spawn of Nazrahim, is there, protecting. And here before us, what should we call you? And he gestures, mentions to you.
Oh, why, we go by the name Eclaas. That was the name that was given to us.
Tell them that Eclaas have been sent to be the guardians of this pillar, and sent here for whatever reason. Go, swiftly. And the guy makes his way out of the building. Yes. So, you are the current guardians of the Earth Pillar. Can I see such evidence of this?
Does Thordane, or does Zil still has the key, right?
Yeah.
No, Yuki does.
Oh yeah, she took it. Yuki gives the key, or takes out the key.
Emerald key, not the Earth key.
What you say is true, and he has a small little satchel on his side, and he pulls out his key, and it is a key with a brilliant-looking aquamarine gem within the hilt of it, large, much like the Earth key. And as these keys are brought together, there's a shimmering radiance from within the crystals that are on each hilt of the key, as if drawn together to some point. Well, welcome, Eclaas, to the grand halls of my kingdom. I must admit, your arrival at this troubling hour has sparked a glimmer of hope in me. And, clearly, your reputation as a band of courageous adventurers precedes you, making your way all the way from finding a dragon to clearing out the Earth Pillar and keeping secure of that, all the way to being in the graces of Nalgoric Cragheim. Well, your quest could not have come at a more opportune time, perhaps. Please, do listen. You come seeking my aid. For what reason?
The fire pillar, guarded by Nalgoric Cragheim, has been acting up as of late, and it's been flickering, and in fact, the volcano of Aishan Island itself has been erupting, and lava flows have been coming, monsters have been coming from the volcanoes as well, with this flickering of the Earth Pillar. And Nalgoric Cragheim is understandably concerned about this.
So you call Council of the Keys. In my lifetime, we have not met. But this is troubling news. And from what I've experienced out there on the high seas, there's something darker and something deeper.
I mean, are you talking about Azael Doom? Because we also encountered him along the way.
You encountered a creature such as that terror of the seas, and you have survived. Truly, your reputation does precede you.
I don't know about survived. Unfortunately, we lost many in the scramble to get away from him, but yes, we're alive, I guess, to share the news.
The fact that you made your way all the way from Aishan Island up here, survived an encounter with the Zaildun. It shows me your dedication to the gathering of these, of us individuals. I will promise to meet you back at Flomberge for the Council of the Keys. However, you have proven yourself worthy as warriors. You see, this time has been troublesome. You see, my daughter, and he kind of, like a small kind of like tear kind of rolls down his face. My daughter, Princess Mila, she's been taken. Matters of my family come before matters such as this. Truly, you should understand. But if we want this completed and this council to be united as quick as possible. Perhaps you wouldn't mind me asking of your help in this dire hour.
Quick question.
Yes, speak.
How... I don't mean this in any insensitive way. I'm just trying to best solve both problems as efficiently as possible. How long do you think this errand to aid your daughter would take?
So myself, my son, and many of our scouts have scoured the seas for any kind of evidence. She's been missing for 2 weeks now.
Okay.
But we have found that she was originally taken from the residences. The residential district that is in the Bay of Feshin Fei. This, while we are prepared for a land attack, the only understandable occurrence of this could be from a submerged attack.
Oh.
You see, my daughter... He kind of breathes. She's very much a princess of the people. She spends her days down at the seabed farms, helping where she can, in the fishing grounds, helping where she can. But unfortunately, she did not have her escort with her. She was
Where's
taken.
all your guys' guards? You guys are supposed to have guards everywhere.
We have guards.
So what I'm hearing, we can get the details in it, but just hear my idea first. This is going to take a little bit of time. Hopefully not too much, but... Could you possibly send an emissary ahead to, Shalanthel?
Aishan Island?
Lombard?
Wherever the men with the key is,
Folden Rock. Folden Rock.
Folden Rock. Send an emissary ahead to Folden Rock to get that king to come here. We don't have to explain the whole situation, but just have him meet us here. So by the time we're done with that, we don't then have to travel on to Folden Rock.
From what we've heard of it, the reason we stopped by Feshin Fei first, if you remember, Zil, was King Nagor Krakheim said that King Ferrand here is the more reasonable of the two. I don't know if, even if we sent an emissary ahead, maybe it'd be smart to send an emissary ahead in order to make him aware that we're arriving, but I don't know if he'll leave.
Do you think you could... What's that king's name?
I don't remember. It's a family, right? It's not a...
The Monteblair family.
Monteblair. I do have that written down.
Yes, the Monteblair family. They're reasonable enough people, but they are deeply engaged in their works. You see, he's an inventor. His family, while yes, the protector of the Sky Key, he created him and his entourage, his people, are the ones that created Folden Rock. Man-made, tarnishing our seas. But it is there which he does his work, crafting contraptions of destructive power. It's going to take much to be able to convince him, but I don't see why I cannot convince him to do so. In fact, we are neighbors after all. And it is because of us here at Feshin Fei that his waters surrounding his city are protected.
So, if we could get him here, around the same time we return with your daughter, ideally, that might speed up the process of assembling the Council of the Keys.
Indeed.
That's my idea.
I don't ask this of you lightly. Understand this. I don't want to take advantage of your, well, opportune arrival here. And I wouldn't ask this of you if you weren't strong enough to be able to help. But clearly you've been through a thing or two on these high seas. You see, we've narrowed down the location of my daughter. They were taken by the Krakora.
For what?
Make knowledge checks for me.
What was
Did you
that?
crack corner? And I don't care.
Krakora. Belbin and Luxalia, you guys are going to be making yours with hope.
That's a natural 1 for Yuki and a 3 plus 4 for Thordane, so 7.
13.
13.
What is happening with Zil today? He's rolling well.
I'm assuming this isn't the plus. I don't get the extra
No.
+1 for this. 13.
13. Wow, those 13s. Luxalia and Belbin, you're very familiar with this, and Zil, you've heard of such creatures in lore. Krakora are wicked undersea creatures of somewhat higher intelligence that roam the bottom of the seas of Everlast. They aren't seen very often, but kind of think of them like merfolk or like mermaids, but they're more bestial than that. You see, my people here at Feshin Fey have been at war with them for centuries. And they took the opportune moment, clearly, to seize my daughter. If that is the case...
One question about that, King.
Yes.
Did you give them the speech?
Which speech?
You know, the speech. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they want. But you're a man with a very particular set of skills, and if you leave her alone, you won't look for them, but otherwise you'll go and kill them.
They will know more than just a speech. In fact, my daughter was taken from beneath my nose, which is why I ask you here. I ask for your assistance in helping. I need to keep my son here to safeguard the city, but having a group of adventurers such as yourselves might prove quite useful. They're at the depths of Tale Tale, a keep, a sanctuary deep but down beneath, of the old kingdom of the old lands of Ashalanthil. The old regions that used to extend far and wide. They have made that treacherous place their homes. I shall accompany you on this endeavor and on this adventure.
I do see one problem, Yuki pipes up.
I don't. Maybe
This is
we see the
underwater.
same problem. Yeah. I
I
don't.
very much see the
Oh,
same
great.
problem.
Yeah,
Oh,
unfortunately
wait,
we
you
are
got
treading
that thing, Yuki, didn't you?
I mean, Thordane, are you talking about his necklace? But it's only for an hour, right, Thordane? Why, yes, I
Oh.
believe that's correct.
Yes.
So, none of us breathe underwater. I'm from the middle of a continent. I don't swim so good.
But he thinks really well.
I sink great. That's the problem.
He's very dense. Lots of muscle and armor.
Well, perhaps I can assist you in such endeavors. And he stands up, and he calls from the back of the room, and immediately there's another person that's present. Again, none of these people look like servants, per se. They all look to be royal, regal family members of some kind. If you would go to my stores, bring out the hoods.
Look at all the elemental hoods. This is sick.
Does the hood go? Does it fit over my helmet?
Immediately, the person goes off and does come back within some time, and you are presented with these hoods. These are on loan for now. There are only few of them to be in existence. It's an ancient craft that seems to have been lost to history, but these are some of but the few remnants of such a craft, and he presents you each with a hood. And as you put them on, you can pull them over your heads, and there's a small cloth that goes across the face. As soon as you submerge yourselves, you will notice that you shall breathe normally. Water will filter through this mask and turn into pure oxygen. These do not have, as I can see, and he sees one of the necklace upon Thordane's neck. These do not have a particular time limit, but do be warned, if they are removed, you cannot re-don it beneath the waves. Keep it fastened safely and keep it fastened tightly. As the depths of Tale Tale. They are dark and quite a ways down. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close our session.
Yo, oh my gosh.
Wait,
So wait, what's the name of the cloak?
Oh,
there an official-
yeah. You guys can go ahead and just the hood of water breathing.
Sick.
Can this hood allow us to swim up waterfalls?
Nah, it's not that cool. What is this, Zora armor?
We're not
one
we're
last
not
question
engaged
for-
to the princess, of course. If we were engaged to the princess, that would be the case.
Before we end,
but-
I've got one last question for the king.
Yes.
Do these Krikora, can I hit them with an axe?
You can hit them with whatever you want. They have taken my
good,
daughter,
that'd be-
they have taken the princess, and they will pay.
Hit
I
them with your
mean,
best
okay,
shot.
that's what I wanted to say.
If we get her back,
Lord.
can one of us be betrothed to her?
This is a choice of but hers alone. It is not my place to be able to say who she engages.
I don't think she's gonna want to marry a cranky old Glyvin Belvin, unfortunately.
Just a question.
You got some
I
sweet
would-
ab muscles, but that's all you got going for you.
It's got a
Rock
flowing
hard,
mane.
baby.
Can you swim up waterfalls?
No.
For her, I can.
All right.
All right, and so
Okay.
that's going to be the end of our session for today. So thank you for joining us. Our next session will be in 2 weeks. So on the 28th of July, same time for those on the west side of the world. For those of you here on the east side of the world, it's going to be the 29th of July. So
That'll be my last stream in Japan. It's crazy.
What?
Crazy to think about. Yep.
so
Then I'll be packing up and
Nice.
leaving.
and be joining at least Connor and Max on their side of the
True.
pond.
In Colorado.
I guess
Well, Cole
technically
too.
it's Cole's side of the pond,
Who
but
knows?
he's a little bit later.
Maybe Forge and I can
Um,
do some shenaniganry
Yeah.
for some
Yeah, who
streams.
knows? For sure. But by the way, this princess just reminds me of Princess Irea, just the Fashion Fae version. I
Why?
was thinking the whole time, because she's a princess of the people, and so is Princess Irea.
Irea was in Helix, right?
Yeah, she's the.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're BFFs.
I should know that. She's my princess.
You wish.
No, we are.
But the one thing
We
about
got tea together.
if you guys remember, the one thing about Princess Irea though is King Alexander III. He kept her kind of like not necessarily under lock and key, but close eyes on her, and so it was very rare that she actually left the city walls. It wasn't until King Alexander got sick that she had to take over diplomatic duties. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
and
good
also the princess here, Princess Mila, she has a brother that potentially could take over the throne. There's a lot of opportunities of people to take over the throne. There's not just like one last living. So yeah,
Got you.
yeah.
Cool.
We're gonna throat chop some people.
Underwater,
Let's
just
go. Yeah.
that's what Belbin does for a living. So
true.
he rips spines out
Hey,
and throat
you-
chops.
Will the
Well-
water impede like our movement and our attacking?
It will. So you will get not attacking, but you will be having to use swimming speeds. And so what if you don't have a swimming speed? It's half of your walking speed.
I'm also assuming Thordain's not going to be doing much with his bow, so I'm glad he bought his Saratang because.
Wait, if you don't have its half?
Yeah,
Can I
if you don't
take
have
the
a swimming
half?
speed, it's halved.
Where would we find that?
Speed is 15,
On it.
half would
Oh.
be better.
15.
Oh yeah, it's 50.
It'd be better by like 2.
Yeah, he's got 15 too.
Y'all, this is gonna be rough.
I think Belbin
all
can
good.
swim pretty quickly. I know he doesn't have swimming speeds. He's
He's
got
got-
like 55 feet of movement, right?
Thordain
He's
has
got-
25.
he's got 25 feet. Yeah, my swim
Yeah.
speed's 25.
So,
Is that a dexterity something other?
yeah, so like it's based off of your agility stat. So like your movement. So, but yeah, quickly, I'm gonna have you guys each go through what your guys' thoughts on the session were. I'm gonna be right back. I can still hear you, but I'll be right back. You guys just continue to talk about your thoughts on the session.
There,
I'll
go
be-
ahead, Zill. You first.
Oh gosh.
Or Belbin.
Thoughts
don't
on
have
the
'em.
session. This one, just I think trying to. We've been doing a lot of role play recently, so it's become very clear of how Zill fits in combat, and how to play that. But I know I've been playing him for what over 3 years now, 3
Yes,
years.
Yeah.
But his personality has still very much been in flux. So just trying to figure that out and where he fits kind of in the party in the world of Everlast. I'm
Well-
thinking settling on. He's very socially naive, but like has street smarts and ideas that may or may not be good, but just kind of goes for it, speaks his mind, jumps in. It's not always appropriate. It's not always considered. It's not always well timed, and just trying to figure out exactly what that role playing personality looks like.
I get that.
Of just
Well, I
like,
will-
was it the best to be like, hey, King, listen up. Here's an idea. Probably not, but
Well, I will say too, though, that I know in talking with Kyle, he could probably confer this when he gets back. But, I mean, this is a game in which decisions are made and decisions affect everything that you do. Meaning that there is a dynamic. There's the potential for dynamic change in characters as well. So,
yeah,
like for example, I feel like Yuki as a character, my specific character's come a long way from when she first started. Like my initial thought about her. And so, like, I don't think that's necessarily something that you feel like once you grasp, it's going to be maybe permanent. I think just based off of what we
Yeah.
experienced, that there's going to be some
But-
change, ebb and flow to our characters.
no, change is good. I mean, we saw a lot of change in him last time with regretting taking the money.
Mhm.
I think trying to just figure out a
Yeah.
consistency.
Not necessarily change, but growing. Yeah, consistency
Yeah.
definitely helps too.
Consistency, both of just personality from session to session, but also a framework for the growth to occur in. And it's still a process. His
For sure.
smithing always comes first. He will do anything to become the world's best smith.
Yeah, I like how every time you go to like a blacksmith, you're just like, all right, you don't have stuff you can give me. How about your materials? Give me what you use to make a living.
I can use a Refinium battle axe. Now I just need to find one. Or
I have a
make one.
Refinium ingot that you can buy off of Yuki. Yuki's going
Ooh,
to take
'cause I have one ingot right now.
I have one too. So.
And I'm hoping to trade the Refinium long axe for more ingots. That's my goal. He's very happy to finally have increased his carrying capacity because he is slow.
Now you can carry your stuff. So
Yeah, but just trying to balance, like, okay, what is his personality as a base of, yes, there's that naivete, the social ineptness, but also he does have some smarts on him, just not your necessarily useful kind all the time.
definitely.
Sure.
Luxalia.
Yeah,
Or
I
cool.
thought it was really fun. Especially getting to explore a new area.
Fashion phase different, that's for sure.
Yeah, and like yeah, it was interesting trying to figure out for Luxalia because in her background, she has a very particular like wounds and ideas about royalty. And so it's interesting because it's like this place is really like uppity and high class, which like usually she has a unique relationship with. So I was trying to figure that out, but it was like the way you described it was like, oh, it is, but it's also different than like it's not necessarily reminiscent of Silverwood.
Yeah, it's
Upper
a completely
classes and
different
stuff.
culture for sure.
Yeah, so I think like some of that was just trying to figure out for me. It was like, okay, is this like triggering some of those past memories? Is this not? Is this just completely different? Where's kind of that balance? I think I kind of got there toward the end, but yeah, she just and I didn't necessarily play this very well with Princess Irea because like they're best friends, but also Princess Irea is just different because she's awesome. But yeah, in general, I think Luxalia is hesitant around royalty because there's a lot of wounds there from her background. So, yeah, so she especially tends to get more quiet around that, and yeah. Anyway, but other than that, I thought it was a good sesh.
Yeah.
And
hopefully next session we get a dungeon crawl again. Sweet.
Yeah. Underwater dungeon crawl.
So that'll be fun.
Go
Remember when you guys were like back at the sorcerer's place? The sorcerer
oppressive
of
humidity.
Eeas, and just like how long that dungeon crawl is. Hopefully I made it so it's a little bit more refined, so that's good. Playtesting helps.
That was very long.
It was a very long session. And especially with our sessions only being like 2, sometimes 3 weeks apart, it can sometimes feel like it takes a while to get through. So it helps me when it comes to designing and doing things. So, like, for example, the one with Belbin and Zill, the last one that you guys kind of small little dungeon that you went through, like kind of short, 1 session, potential for combat, no combat. Yeah, those are good. I don't know if Tale, the depths of Tale is going to be like that, but it'll be interesting because I know like in D&D in these games like a combat could take like more than like the greater part of a session. So being able to both combine like the fun exploration parts of it, but also like combat and that kind of stuff, it's a balance. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And you guys also have King Farron too with you, so you get to see him be cool. So
nice.
Dane, were you done? Were you done, Cole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Dane.
Yeah, I'm happy to really get back to Everlast. I don't know why. I feel like it's been so sporadic, which it hasn't necessarily. We've been following the schedule, but I'm really liking being back with the guys and really just hanging out with y'all. And I know it helps me a lot for sure. And I just love the story of Everlast and I love playing it. And I'm really excited for Ikari to join us, hopefully next time, to fill in Thordane's spots. But no, as far as today's session goes, it was good. It was good. I really like Fashion Fae as a place. Like, I definitely, if Fashion Fae was a real place, I would love to visit it. It seems like it'd be an awesome place
so pretty.
Yeah, just to see. And actually, when I was deciding between characters, Fashion Fae Elf was like a top 3, top 4 choice for me, for characters to choose to play for Everlast, and just I happened to land on Yuki as a character. But no, it was really good. I really like the role play. Again, I think from week to week, it can be very different. I don't know what it is, but like sometimes you just don't necessarily feel like role playing all that much. But today seemed like a very natural day where we could talk a lot and find out a lot of information. And I think for me as a character, I've grown a lot from playing Adventures Middle Earth and having that consistently every week. Being able to like dive further into conversations as opposed to just like the surface level stuff. And that's part of the reason why I called over what's her name, Elise, to get more information, because like I know before, like recently, I probably wouldn't have even bothered doing that. I probably would just moved on to King Farron just to get a little bit more information about things. So I'm hopefully, as far as my character goes, really trying to change her and make her like a better party character, as opposed to what she was before. So yeah.
Cool. Connor, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think Belbin in general is not one for the fancy life necessarily, but something about Fashion Fae, and I think probably being on the boat for a few weeks and the island before that, who just wanted a little taste of the high life, sort of.
It's funny, like when I picture Belbin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he probably has like exquisite taste, but he doesn't like all the baggage that comes with it.
Yes, yeah. Like he does enjoy the higher things, but not all the kind of crap that comes with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Fashion Fae, Belbin has an itching to do something but after talking to everyone, if something goes down, he's gonna have to be a little bit more tactful, a little bit more careful, kind of do more research rather than a spur of the moment rob someone, or something like that, you know. But yeah, I think he's kind of in a weird spot where he wants to do something, but the consequences are there and present, and maybe he's learning a little bit more restraint. We'll have to see.
I'm actually
Yes.
genuinely curious, like, on you guys though. Like, what are your thoughts on the city of Feshin Fei?
I love
Like,
it.
compared to some of the other cities, like, one, I guess a couple things. One, what's your first reaction? Two, what's your reaction the more you started interacting with it a little bit more? And three, just generally, like, what are your thoughts on it? Because I built it in a very specific way, but I'm curious on, like, what you guys actually think of it to see how it came across without sharing too much.
Zills or as a player?
Both.
Anyone else can jump.
Everyone seems lovely. Both Yuki and I myself feel
Everyone
that.
seems lovely.
Everyone seems like they've been very kind and very, very, how to say, no problems. Like, if you don't cause problems, you're not going to have any problems caused towards you, which is nice. It's good. Hopefully for Belbin, he can overcome that.
I'd say it feels a little restrictive for Belbin. Yeah, just the order feels a little oppressive, but it feels very like utopia. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, if Belbin's going to do something, he's going to have to be careful because everyone's watching.
Everyone's watching.
It reminded me, and I started to allude to this, but then I stopped. It reminded me of Avatar: The Last Airbender a little bit.
Yeah.
Ba Sing Se. I think it's Ba Sing Se, isn't it, Max? Where basically they go into like this city.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like,
There's
it's
no
the
war in
exact
Boston
same thing. Everyone's like really kind, like super serving them, like all these things. But then there's like this underbelly of like these like super corrupt like police force that like are like crazy powerful. Like, I mean, obviously it's a different world, but they're like earthbenders or whatever. And then it's like this whole subplot. So I'm kind of like, it seems a little too good to be true, I think, is kind of my, like, it seems really great, but also I'm like, where's the flaw? Like,
It's the Krakora, that's the flaw.
yeah. So that was my take on it. I'm like, this place is great, but it almost seems too good to be true. So, yeah.
So, for those of you that are joining in for the players, my original kind of thoughts when I went into building out this city is it's historically, it is currently the oldest city of elven civilization that exists in Everlast at the moment. And so it's one that has withstood the test of time, and for whatever reasons you guys might uncover, there's a reason that the laws exist the way they are. And so you'll notice that their borders are open to travelers, but they're also very homogenous too. And like you'll notice in some of the rules, it's like some of the rules is like you will stick to like our culture. You will stick to these kind of things. We'll welcome others and like have them, but it's like they are required to respect our culture. They're required to at least basically like you can't just come into the country or the city and just try to change it from the inside in. That's going to be stomped out immediately. They're like, we know who we are and what we are. We're old city, we've built ourselves, we have these ideals, and we're welcoming towards others as long as they're willing to abide by those rules. And so it's like a city that's like primarily like the safety of its people and the safety of its culture is what they are for, and the people that grow up in Feshin Fei, the elves, they're all raised from a very young age to know and kind of like think a certain way. And so everybody within the city knows like the responsibility and their part in the society. Like, yeah, I understand what you're kind of saying, where there's like kind of like this utopian vision where there's like no really like classes and like that kind of stuff. And I understand, Cole, also what you're saying, where it's like, well, then there's got to be some kind of like sketchy seediness that's going on, which who knows? Maybe there is, maybe there's not, but it's one of those where it's just like they're doing everything in their power to protect their way of life and to protect the sea and everything, and this is like what they've come to be able to do so. And so like from everybody experiencing it, like, wow, this is great, but then you have someone like Belbin who's just like, but like I'm itching to do something, but you're very well aware they make it, and the thing is like it's not a trap. They make it very clear this is our expectations upon coming into our city, and so like you can't just like get away with something. It's like, well, I didn't know. It's like, you did know. And so it like gives you kind of that extra layer of responsibility. And so while maybe it kind of seems like a police state, it's not as much of a police state because it puts the responsibility on everyone else by being completely upfront in what to expect. And they're also not trying to go out and conquer as well. So like they're very secure in like their own little thing. They're concerned with protecting the seas and the lands that are around them, and they're concerned with preserving culture and their faith. And so, but yeah, it's interesting. And so you guys will learn a little bit more about Fesh and Fae and all the stuff that happens with that. But I was just really curious on your thoughts, because it's a very different kind of city from everywhere else. Like everywhere else is just kind of like, especially I think like Tuck Town being like a vacation like port destination, it's like, yeah, we got cultures of all over the place, and like we have like some fun festivals and stuff to do, but yeah, it's way more chaotic. It's less ordered than it is in Fesh and Fae. So yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
Zil feels so out of place.
Yeah, there's no layer of grime on things.
Street rat. Da, da, da.
He's like, and it's like everyone knows their purpose. We have no poverty. He's like, what am I to you? My whole existence is in question.
Yeah.
Street rat. Da, da, da.
You're normal. They're welcoming you with open arms. There is no poverty. Everyone takes care of each other. I know. I was at first I was thinking, I'm like, wait, this is like unflawed communism, and then I was just like, yeah, but like they don't like completely like squelch everything else that goes like against. Like you're expected, like you're free to be able to be who you are. The people of the city have to be welcoming to outside cultures and other customs as long as it doesn't break their laws.
Collectively charitable.
Yeah, collectively charitable. I like that.
Well, I also think it has a lot to do with as well. Like, let's face it, it comes from like a religious authority of some sorts too. So it's like an actual, not like the government telling you have to do this, but an actual like belief mindset is why they think the way that they do as well. So
Exactly.
that's also different. So.
Exactly, and actually, that's one thing that's the stark difference. You guys haven't visited the astral archives yet, but like you'll see like a lot of knowledge and a lot of faith, and it's at the very center of the city. And so everybody that
Maybe
goes
they know about runes.
They might know about runes, but like by investigating and looking into that, like they have a very like faith-based centered, like faith-centric society, and the royal family exists primarily for any kind of diplomatic needs. And so like they exist and they're like figureheads to a degree, but the true ruling force is the faith and the religion, which is why like they literally have laws of education, laws of like reverence and like that kind of stuff. So, and everyone's ingrained with it. And so they're not going to put you in jail for not being like a Lomnic faith. But if you're like trying to do like void sorcery in the city, they're going to be like, oh, heck no, get out of here. So it's interesting. Yeah. I was like kind of somewhat troubled putting like this society together, and I was just like, yeah, it's too good to be true, right? And so that's kind of the point that I was trying to get at.
That'll be interesting for characters though, like other campaigns in future, when this game does officially come out, and like how people react to it, you know, and how other parties decide to play it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and leave it there for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining. I know it's getting late over there on the west side of the world, but I thank you so much, as always, for you guys joining us. Again, we will, in 2 weeks, reconvene with the depths of Tali Tale, and hopefully a new character, a new Ikari, hopefully is here for Thordane. And yeah, a couple of things, Dane, stream schedule stuff for the weeks ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a normal stream schedule as far as I know. So Monday morning, Kyle will be streaming some Tears of the Kingdom. That evening, we will also have our Discord movie night. Don't know what we're going to be showing, but we'll have that. Kyle streams at now 8 a.m., right? Japan Standard Time?
Now 8 a.m.
So officially changed to 8 a.m. as opposed to 7 a.m., so it's an hour later. And then we have on Tuesday my stream as well as Thursday my stream. 7 p.m. Japan Standard Time. We'll be continuing Tears of the Kingdom as well. I'm expecting to finish the game within the month, so we're getting close to it. I pretty much did everything I can on the terrestrial land and underneath, and now I just got to complete the story, which is nice. And then Wednesday, Kyle will be streaming some more Tears of the Kingdom in the morning, and then we at 8 a.m. and then we have Adventures Middle Earth, our D&D inspired. Well, it's not inspired. It is D&D. It is Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Middle Earth. It is Lord of the Rings using the 5e rule set of Dungeons and Dragons. It's really fun. We do that every week, so come join us for that. And then yeah, nothing this weekend or next weekend. So enjoy your weekend off.
There's no update on Cold Forge Great Axe yet.
It's all good. It's all good.
Figure it out eventually.
Take your guys' time with it. No problem. Life comes first.
Exactly. And we also have a sponsor here, DaiSNACki. They're a Japanese treats and luxury sweets company, and they serve exactly that. They have their omakase boxes and their omakase lux boxes, which have traditional and also popular Japanese snacks to be able to have. And they also have their kawaii box out right now. So an assortment of anime character goods. Additionally, they have specific boxes for their kawaii box, which are Disney, Sanrio, Pokemon, and Nintendo themed. And so they have all of those boxes to be able to purchase. If you do purchase from them, mention at checkout the Fantasy Forge sent you. It does help us out, and you'll get coupons for your next box when that resets. And then if you do buy from them as well, mention your Twitch name, as you'll get tickets for a random raffle drawing when we receive our referral limit, and then they will actually give away a free omakase box on our channel, and we'll let you know when that all does happen. So lots of good stuff. Make sure you check them out, support a small family business, and yeah, it's gonna be good. But until then, thank you guys all for joining us. It was a fun session, great way to kick off the weekend, and may Alomnia guide each and every one of you. Bye guys.